Hello, Internet. Welcome to Shenanigoons, Book of Fables, our D&D actual play live stream. I was gonna say podcast. I'm ready, everybody. I'm so prepared for today. You have no idea how prepared I am. So, how are all of my delightful players doing today?
Doing well.
Doing okay.
Yeah. Are you ready?
So good. I mean,
define ready.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye,
no,
Captain.
Nope. So I hope all of you out in internet land are having a nice day, and that we can bring a little bit of joy and a little bit of silliness into your evening with our chapter 9 of Book of Fables, which, to be quite honest, I consider sort of the beginning of the next, let's call it the next arc of the story. But our episode tonight is called Green Acres. We will go over a little review of what has been happening over the last 8 episodes. Just a real quick summary to get you caught up. Today is definitely the day to start watching if you haven't yet, so welcome if you're new. But before we get started, we have a couple of folks that we really want to thank because they are incredible partners with us here at Nerdsmith. Nerdsmith being the network we are currently on. You can find more information about us at nerdsmith.org, or if you like the show and you want to help support us, you can support us at Patreon, patreon.com/nerdsmith. We put out bonus content, and you get to be a part of our community space that is just chef's kiss. So, a couple of other people that we are partners with and are supported by include Eldritch Foundry. Eldritch Foundry is an amazing digital miniature designer. You can build all sorts of fantasy creatures in it, beautifully designed characters and clothing and accessories and such. You can get them printed in a variety of materials, and in addition, you can get free tokens for your characters. That's sort of what we have here, our little portraits for our characters, but then also top downs for map making. So you can have little figurines that can go right onto your digital maps when you use them for online gameplay. So it's very cool. You should definitely check them out. We have a referral link in our chat code for Eldritch Foundry. If you use that, it just lets them know that we sent you, and you're helping support us, and you're helping support a really killer company, and we're very proud of it. We are also supported by World ANVIL. World ANVIL is an amazing online campaign management and world building tool that you can create very vast repositories of knowledge for all the worlds and people and stories that you have in your brain. Whether you're a game master or a novelist or any other kind of world builder, you will find an incredible home at World ANVIL. Their community is just bar none. And they are constantly coming out with updates to the site and new features for you to use. The site is free to use to start, but there are some amazing customization features if you decide to support them as a guild member. And guild members often get access to early testing of special features when they come out. One such special feature that just got released a couple of days ago is the ability to create secrets. As a owner of your world, you can create secrets that your other players, even if they're editors on your site, won't be able to see. So you can keep a few things under the table while you're having your players assist you in creating your world anvil and keeping it updated and stuff. So they can participate in the building of the world for, say, a campaign without getting spoiled, which is very nice. And you can set up open secrets, which is everybody can see them if they are a part of your editing team. So I very much appreciate that. As a game master that really wants players to help me out sometimes, it is very helpful to have an open secrets feature. So that is worldanvil.com, and join them and light up the forge this World Ember, which there is still several days left in World Ember for you to catch up if you want to participate. It's a writing challenge. You get a word, you're trying to hit a word count, and I think I actually have the word count out. Let's see. I don't know what your word count is. I feel silly for that. But there's lots of prizes depending on the kinds of articles that you write, from thousands of dollars worth of prizes from lots of partners of World Anvil, and you can find out more at worldanvil.com. So please check them out. Last but certainly not least, Tessa, would you like to talk about Die Hard Dice?
Boy, would I am, not to toot my own horn, I am the resident dice dragon over here at Nerdsmith. I have quite a collection, but recently I've been adding more to it, and I was specifically told that I should not add more to my collection because people might buy me dice for Christmas. I don't see what the problem is, especially when I'm using the Nerdsmith coupon code of Nerdsmith-DEC for 10% off my order each month. That code will change in 2 weeks in January, and we will highlight a yes. If you threaten my click-clack children, you will be eaten. So, definitely you should get yourself some of your own click-clack children. Don't come for mine. I love them too much because, you know, even Francis can stay. Even Francis can stay. He's still important, Kyle.
The Nerdsmith Network does not support the eating of people who touch Tessa's dice.
They
I would
can
just like to
touch
put that
them.
out.
They just can't take them.
Oh,
you can touch
okay.
my dice.
Well, if that's the case, then sure. But officially,
don't take them
officially, the
away.
network does not condone the
Oh, okay. I do have to say I have a new favorite toy from Die Hard Dice, and that is their pop-up collapsible dice tower. It fits so nicely into my collapsible dice tray, so I just stick it in and whoop, and then it collapses on me because I'm not supposed to hold it like that. There we go. That's much better. And then
There you
roll
go.
away. I was holding it by the edge where the snaps are. Don't do that.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was not smart.
The snaps allow it to be very customizable and very portable
And collapsible.
not-
That's the point.
Not for
I want to highlight them for an amazing story. I heard about them just today. One of their big supporters, not even like their big supporters, but just somebody in the community that really enjoys their dice, was going through a difficult time medically, and the group of folk that run Die Hard Dice got together and sent her a care package, including dice, but also some special tea, some get well cozy socks, and a nice fuzzy blanket while she's recovering medically. The folks over at Castle Die Hard are just incredible. And we say that not just because we love their product, but they genuinely are some of the nicest folk that we work with, and I will forever love them. So I cannot say enough good things about not only the people that work there, but also their dice. So please go check them out. Use the coupon code Nerdsmith-DEC for 10% off of your order for this month, and tune in next month for next month's coupon code, as well as a little sneak peek at something that they have sent us to show off next month.
Oh my.
That might already have made its way into my hoard. I mean, what? No.
Hoard? No. Marketing collection.
Yes. It helps being the person that the marketing collection is sent to when you are the dice dragon.
Yes, it is.
So, and that is.
Thank you so much, Tessa.
Sorry, I spent more time talking about Die Hard Dice than you did for all of the other sponsors, and I apologize.
It's
I just get
okay.
very excited about
When
dice.
you have a bit, you gotta go with it. I understand. Even that rhymed. See, it's gotta be true.
It is.
So, everybody, shall we continue with our tale? Not tale, because that's the bad guy. We don't want tales, we tell fables. So, let's talk a little bit about where we came from and how we got here. So, you are playing, or were playing, a group of young folk who found themselves at a reacclimation center, which is a place where people who don't necessarily fit into the structure of your home get sent to maybe get back on the straight and narrow. You are there for various reasons, mostly because you didn't fit the divine plans of the Great Order of Mechanus that but has colonized this continent that you live on, and you all just didn't quite fit in. And so you're all there to kind of learn how to fit in, and that did not happen. I mean, you did fit in with each other. You managed to make some friends and find yourselves in, well, I mean, for lack of a better way to say this, you found yourself sucked into a book in the library and sent to a fantastical place, more so than even where you came from. The Book of Faebles is a vast queensdom run by 6 queens who overtook the land from their wicked husband. And you spent what seemed like years in this place learning how to be great heroes in anticipation that the Lord of Tales, the original ruler of this place, might escape when you attempt to leave to go home. You found yourselves a little torn about going home, though. You found places here, and you were encouraged, however, that if you choose to stay, it really should be as educated a choice as possible, as informed a choice as possible. And so you're getting the opportunity to go home and, get your affairs in order. And potentially be prepared for the attempt to get home to offer an opportunity for the Lord of Tales to piggyback and get there as well. And he could cause a bit of problems if he did. And so for both you and for both your home, or original home, and the book itself. So you venture back to the material plane, back to the physical world, that world of black and white and structure and schedules. And along with your friend Verlaine, a changeling with one eye, because I have to keep talking about the eye patch, it makes it very distinct, you find yourselves back in the Reacclimation Center, and after a little bit of chaos and a couple of what seemed like math terminators, you fled with the help of a distraction from said changeling. Were able to get onto a train fleeing the Reacclimation Center and heading for somewhere. You sort of decided you're gonna stop by your houses, your homes, to try to sort out whatever is going on with your lives now. It seemed that years had passed in the book, but only hours, maybe, had passed in this world. So there's a lot of adjustments to make for some of you. You're now adults, you're not young people anymore. You're more skilled, you're different people, for that matter. So it's maybe just time to evaluate what you want out of your lives now that you are ostensibly heroes. I mean, at least in skill, if not in practice yet. So we're gonna cut back to where we left off. A couple hours pass on the metronome train. Constant tick-tocking on the train as you're just kind of milling around, recovering. A few of you took a little bit of a ding from one of the algorithms, the beings of pure logic and math and order that were seemingly coming after you.
What do we see outside the windows of the train?
It's a tunnel. It's dark. You're underground
Not a
right
lot,
now.
Right?
Correct. Not a lot. You did have a moment of seeing out and did see yourselves going towards the outer wall of Chronogram 4, which is this region. But then you went back to dark tunnel when you went under the wall. And it has been like that for a couple hours now. There's some flickering light in the train car. The train car is also not very comfortable. It's mostly metal. It's just park benches, basically. Got to make your own comfort in this particular metronome train. So You all are going through a little bit of existential crises right now. If not in small part to the fact that you did have to leave behind Villain, who had bought you some time to get out.
And Button.
They weren't able. And Button, your fire lizard weasel. Did we have a name? I forgot the name of the kind of thing it was.
Fire weasel.
Fire weasel.
Fire
Yeah.
weasel?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. And you left Button hopefully to complete his task as an animal messenger to get to Villain and let him know that you were going to Harlan's home, going to the homestead, hoping that maybe they would catch up with you if they got the message, hoping that Button would at least find Villain so that, two of your friends would be safe. But you sort of meander for a bit. Do any of you do anything to kind of keep busy while you're stuck on this train? It's still moving. It doesn't seem like anyone's made any effort to stop it or board.
I am making a cushion out of moss with my druidcraft because I don't like sitting on this hard bench. This is not comfortable, so I make like this little moss pillow. There we go.
That's fair. So you kind of move your hands a little bit and focus really hard on, I wish there was nature in here.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, though, probably some dirt under your shoes.
Good plan.
Kind of picks up, and some moss starts growing up the tree, up the bench. You let it grow, and then you sit on it, and it's very cushy.
Better.
And you don't need much square footage. So.
Nope. No, I do not. So yeah. That is
I
what
feel
I'm
like
doing.
Beza's probably checked her weapons a couple of times
Sure.
at this point and is bored out of her mind and
Mhm.
pacing. Does anyone else feel like we're in a giant clock?
I've never been in a standard size clock, so I wouldn't be able to tell you one way or the other.
I mean, that's fair.
Have you been in a non-standard size clock? Sorry, Villain's not here. I can't talk right now. So
Oh, don't remind me.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Is that what Oliette's doing right now? It's just like
Honestly, Oliette is, after things kind of settled down and after that last exchange with the book at the end of the last
right.
chapter.
You did find that you were capable of communicating with Her Majesty of the Word, your mentor,
Mm-hmm.
the ostentatious narrator.
Yeah. I honestly would have pulled out like one of those super, like, I think it looks super plush, but it's probably super tacky, those like eye masks. And I would have been like, just slap me when we get there. And I cast sleep on myself and I pass out.
Yes.
Okay, mark a spell slot for that fluff. I approve. So yeah, so Oliette's just conked out, has this like black leather mask with like wool. it's like natural
Exactly.
Materials.
It's the ones that have like the embroidered eyes that are
I was just
open
gonna
on
say
the
like the closed eyelashes
yeah.
on the.
Oh my god! Just hands
bedazzled.
Yeah, yeah,
One of your
exactly.
But
Probably did
now the question is it both eyes closed or is it winking?
Ooh, I'm gonna say they're both eyes closed. Yeah, I think they're both eyes closed. For sure.
Okay. And Harlan, what are you up to? You're heading to your homestead.
I think after feeling, walking up and down the train a little bit, I think you do a little bit of like, start like doing lunges or whatnot. Just try to keep limber and try to do some stretches to be like, you have to keep the blood flowing. It's gotta stay active. But then eventually, after the 20th lunge, he's tired of that nonsense and is probably asking people to play 20 questions a bunch.
At least you didn't try to play I Spy.
That was my original thought, and then you said that we were in a tunnel, so that went out the door.
Well, you could.
It could, yeah.
I Spy something with my little eye, something made of air shell. Is it Beza? You're real good at this.
No, so if either Paru or Beza would play with him, they would very quickly realize that like it's just Verlaine. He's just like got Verlaine on his head, and he's like just constantly it's a him, like it's just a him. Like that's all that's all Harland is just focused on Verlaine and their plight at the moment.
Yeah. I think Paro at some point is going to take her hair and try and contact the Gaba Yaga. She hasn't done that in a long time.
Okay. What do you do? Talk me through your ritual and what you're thinking.
So she sits cross-legged. She gets up and she shuts her door because people are loud in the kitchen is what she does first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You do that. You got to do that on the train. You got to make sure that the people in the kitchen aren't making too much noise.
In the galley, sorry, in the galley.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's
It's actually the kitchen car, the dining car.
Yeah, the dining car. She needs to concentrate for this ritual, so she sits cross-legged on her seat of moss that she's created and pulls a braid forward from her hair, and she kind of just sits with it for a moment and kind of thinks to herself like, I haven't heard your voice in a really long time, and maybe you can help. And she reaches out with augury and cuts the braid as part of her Cutting Fate's strand ability. And she's mainly thinking about how the meeting with families is going to go. If
in general or specifically Harlan's?
Specifically Harlan's. Like, are we going to be welcome here? Are we going to be turned away? That's really what she's thinking about.
Okay. So how will the welcoming of Harlem's family go?
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what she's focused on.
Yeah. Sure. So you have this strand of your hair sort of grasped in your hand as you're trying to focus on getting this information from the Gaba Yaga. And
she's still never been corrected ever on that.
Never.
So
I mean, most people don't know to correct it. She's not as much as a mythological figure as that is. There's a lot of people that don't know the deep dark corners of Fae and such. So no one knows to correct you unless you beat someone. We'll see. So you have this strand of hair in what color's your hair?
It's kind of a muddy green color.
So you have this strand of green hair in your hand, and you watch as the hair in your hand, you start feeling a little movement in your palm, and you open up your hand and you see the strands of hair. Some of them are starting to sprout little buds, and they're just sort of like that for a little while. And then you watch as there's like this little, you ever see something kind of set on fire? Like there's a little like sort of a paper burning. So it burns up the bud on each of the little stems that have grown in the hair. But then from the fire, a little white flower comes out from each. You're getting maybe a mix, but overall positive.
Okay. She kind of breathes a little bit of a sigh, settles back a little bit, a little less anxious.
Thinking, God, dramatic much?
Yeah.
You could have started with the flowers.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, That is comforting to know that you're still there. And kind of settles back in. You alright, Beza?
I mean, my stomach still feels kind of weird. Are you guys sure this is what hungry feels like?
You are still hungry. Well, it was only it's fading at least. You're a little far along enough that your hunger is fading.
It's starting to go away, but that's a really weird thing. How do you guys do that every day?
We
It's
eat
not
and it
that
goes
we-
away.
Yeah, we don't voluntarily get hungry. It's just a matter of course. And then we have several.
Yeah, the whole mastication thing's
Hey.
not appealing. Felt really weird chewing food.
Were you carved with a mouth tube? One of them things that goes down to your belly?
You mean a throat?
That's the word, yes.
I mean, my head's on top of it, so I guess.
Fair enough. I have not studied an enemy.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine, honestly. It's not like I've cut myself open to figure it out.
That is
I
fair.
don't recommend that.
Yeah, I don't plan it. I guess my creator would know. He probably has some diagrams or something. I'm sure that right now there's big letters across it that say, "Do not use air shale."
Lots of post-its.
That's probably not a mistake you're gonna make twice in Mechanus.
What if those plans were confiscated, and we might have to go rescue them from some sort of large vault that housed all sorts of them plans, and there was, a book in that vault that we all got trapped in. I'm just repeating the story that we just did. Am I not?
I mean, I guess it's not impossible that they took his notes, but honestly, unless I get disassembled and you gotta try to put me back together again, I don't know why you'd need them.
I would much rather that not happen.
I agree.
Yeah, same.
It's a lot of heroic need for a world that doesn't want heroes.
That's true. I mean, I do know one of the things he mumbled about before. Well, I wasn't with him for very long before I got taken away, but he mentioned something about, oh, my translations must have been wrong. I think he was using some old some old gnomish texts that were in some weird dialects. I think that's where my name came from, but I don't think he translated some of the information about Goa correctly. So, he used air shale, and here I am.
Well, what you gonna do? Harlan, is there anything we should know about your family before we arrive? Like, is there customary greetings, that kind of thing?
Oh, sure. There's quite a bit that you will most definitely try not to step your foot in, but you will still step your foot in on a repeated basis. But they are forgiving sort, very hospitable. They like to welcome strangers with open arms, so long as those strangers are capable of holding a shovel and getting put to work. Honest day's labor, and they'll put you up in the hayloft, or feed you a nice meal. Aunt Mabel's corn chowder is just the best. She always brings it to the family potlucks, and there's also some roast beets. I can't remember who brings them, but I always go to them first. They got that nice crisp skin on them. So I remember the food quite a bit.
Well, it's got to be better than
Fair.
food and drink, so. Although, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so what's their opinion on inorganic friends?
I'm certain that they do not have one. or that it would not be a poor one, given your disposition and capabilities.
So basically, because I'm useful, they're not going to be upset about the fact that you have a friend who's a statue.
Right. That's why I didn't fit in.
You're useful.
You're
I
extreme.
wasn't at the time.
That
Why
is
not?
debatable. Just because they didn't understand the ways in which you were useful does not make you unuseful.
Oh no, I purposely went out of my way to not be useful. That way it would not disappoint people when I would inevitably cause trouble. They say, oh, that's just Harlan over there.
So you undersold yourself on purpose?
One might say that.
Well, you had a hell of a glow up then.
Why, thank you.
Have you been listening to Oliette? I think you've picked up some of her lingo. That's awesome.
I mean, occasionally, you know, she and her posse, they did occasionally piss off some people, and they're not all good at fighting.
I don't know. I saw the aftermath of some of them fights, and it was not. Let's just say I would not want to get on Oliette's bad side.
No, I agree.
Incredible. So, more time passes over over the trip. Not much more though. You eventually feel the train starting to kind of rumble to a stop. And there is like a noticeable kind of lurch as the tick-tock kind of goes. The brakes kick in. And you're left in a still train car, and the doors creak open with these big gears that just sort of like, and they slowly open. And you can exit at your leisure. It's an identical stone tramway sort of station, just like the one at the Reclamation Center. Honestly, it's hard to tell that it's not the exact same station if it weren't for the labeling on the signs. It reads Chroniker 5. It's a, as in CRONACRE, like acre. And you all can exit. I assume someone wakes Oliette up.
Yeah, I
at
know.
some point when the train starts
Yeah.
starts slowing down. And there's on the sort of, you didn't see an intercom of any kind, but you're hearing, "Thank you all for riding the Metrodome system. You may all leave now."
Well, it was mighty nice of you to transport us from imminent peril into what could be imminent peril. So have an excellent afternoon or morning or time zone.
You may leave now.
Well, I'll just collect my belongings and
All right, so lead the way, Holland.
if I must, then I must. He like tightens up his coveralls, which I forgot to wear tonight. Tightens up his coveralls and then like saunters out the tramway door. Those words did not lock themselves in my brain,
Okay.
and I just yeah.
You made it though. You did.
Thank you. Yeah,
Got
just
that.
soldiered forward.
I mean, you don't have to worry too much. I mean, upon first viewing, they're not going to expect this to be you, and so no one's going to be looking for the mishaps you talked about. This is a chance to give them an entirely new impression of the wonderfulness that is you.
Oh, that's true though. How are we gonna explain the whole he's not a gangly teenager thing anymore?
Well, I have a question for Harlan on that point. Harlan,
Yes.
how long has it been since you've been home? Were you at home when you got taken to the Reacclimation Center, or were you not around?
I think that it would have been on a trip to a different chroniker that essentially, like, this is an opportunity to prove yourself, so like go with your cousin to take the food to to fulfill the quota. And
Sure.
I think it was on that trip that like something happened outside of the home chroniker, and that's what clued everybody out, like, because he was in unfamiliar territory. So I think that it would have been a bit of time. He would have been away for a tiny bit, but not like too terribly long before heading to the Reacclimation Center.
Okay. So it's not like, so you saw them relatively recently then.
It might have been, at most a month.
Okay. So big ol' Harlan's still gonna be a bit of a shock. Gotcha. Just checking.
Fair enough.
Is there a bathroom or anything in this train station? Because I feel like I look like trash and I need to.
Sure. Yeah. There's a little washroom area that you
Perfect.
can kind of slip into.
Perfect.
There's a completely rectangular sink, and it's
Great.
all just concrete and like very polished concrete. It's nice. It's
I
just
just
cold.
straighten my tutu and like fix my hair a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just have to look, I don't know who these people are, so I have to look presentable.
Good first impressions and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not like you don't make a good first impression every time, but but it's because you put the effort in. So
I don't wake up like this.
But no one can know that.
No one will ever know.
It's the illusion of lack of effort. So you all congregate outside in this train station, and you exit the train station.
Well, holy it! I must say that looking mighty fine. I must say that you will probably get the most results out of any of us walking into the Chronica. What on account of your horns? They love horns. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good. That's not weird information at all, and I'm fine with it.
Good to be clear on that. So as you all ascend, I mean, it's a little unsettling actually to ascend the stairs where it's just identical layout to the previous train station. You have a little bit of a flashback to that moment on the train when you left. But when you ascend the, dozen stairs, you're not in the Reacclimation Center. You're not surrounded by concrete and cold walls. It opens up to daylight, and you're actually a little outside. It's a little outdoorsy. But you find yourself in it's a sort of a town. It's like a little market, and it's kind of cozy. It's a little reminiscent. I mean, Harlan, honestly, you wonder a little bit, oh, maybe this was why I got along so well in some of the towns back in the book. It's very, very sort of reminiscent of the sort of thatched roofs and whitewashed walls, stone walls, and a good crowd of folks. Different.
In the peaceful town of Rockbridge.
Yeah, pretty much. And it is like a mix of folks. You see there's some humans, there's a bunch of furbolgs, maybe a few dwarves here and there, and And yeah, it's just kind of a sleepy farming town kind of vibe. But you do know that there's a little bit of a walk to get to your family's homestead from this sort of market space. This is where all the homesteads come together to sell goods and to meet. They have lots of gatherings and like community building and stuff here. And you do know that occasionally your family's farm does sell things here, so that's a possibility. There's not currently like a farmer's market or anything happening right now, but there are a few stalls still around. A few people sort of ambling about.
There yonder's the general store. You can get all manner of sundry and medical goods there. Across the way is the grocer. Why it's different from the general store, I do not know, but it is. And that'll be where you get your foodstuffs. Beza, not that you'd be interested in that after much longer, but yes, Ange.
Good. I messaged him something.
I
Disregard.
mean, I could carry the food for you. I don't want to eat it, but I could carry it.
Oh, they give you sacks if you ask for them. Like big old
Is there
flour
like
sacks.
a club or like where do you hang out? What's fun to do here?
Well, we usually would gather around in the parlor after supper, and we'd tell stories about our days, and we'd might play some card games, and Pa would smoke his pipe, and Uncle Charlie had the moonshine shack out on the back acre. We don't talk much about that. There seem to be a lot of people that would congregate around Uncle Charlie's moonshine shack, but I was not supposed to associate with those types of people, or so my mother had told me.
Well, I mean, you're all grown up now. You can do whatever you want, right?
You have not met my mother.
Your mother hasn't met you in this state.
I'm fairly certain that Chronica 4 is where she had known me previous.
I know, but what I'm saying is that if your mother told your little self not to hang out with those people, she doesn't know you're big, Harland. You could just hang out with them. I sound like Villain, don't I? I should.
With that, I could spend without her permission.
You're
I
an
mean,
adult, Harland. Yeah.
That's the whole deal.
Throw it on the ground.
I'm an adult.
Happy birthday to the ground.
I mean, you don't think, would your mother have been okay with all of your fangirls chasing you around?
I was, if I do say so myself humbly, I was always rather popular with the ladies. They always called me very polite and very quaint, and oh, bless his little heart.
Oh, Harland.
I think you got that a lot as well.
And a lot of clerics in town.
Okay, so midnight moonshine shack. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh,
open
yeah.
24 hours a day.
Moonshine.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
I mean, I'll go along, but I don't want to drink any.
Do we need to go
I'll drink yours.
Duskward or oh wait. How do directions work here again?
North, south, east, and west, Paru. It takes a little bit for y'all to remember, but you do eventually get to it. What nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. There's no... There's a north.
I do know that I remember that our homestead was that way, just over the next couple of hills. Yeah,
Alright.
it's right. It's straight up ahead. That we should just straight on until we hear barking.
Barking? Oh, you have dogs. I assume. I think.
Or is that your mom?
Yeah, Oliette's gonna go great here. She's gonna do so well. Let me tell you.
Now,
Baru
Man.
absolutely chokes.
I must say that we have been friends for all of these many years, but if you insult my mother again, I will have words with you.
Noted.
All right, shall we carry on? Enough of that business.
So Harland starts leading you all down the market street towards the open, honestly, the open fields. There's a road, and you wander down, and there, in these little regimented plots, you see a bunch of different farms and people working the farmland. It's relatively early afternoon, so people are probably heading towards the end of their tasks because they were probably up very early in the morning. Sun's starting to get a little high, a little too high for working, and so you pass by a number of different types of fields, different places where things are being grown. There's herds of animals being raised. So there's undoubtedly some very shaggy Highland sheep and some Faebles that weirdly look like shaggy Highland sheep. There's a bit of Paru. They remind you just a little bit of the Minotaur. You've seen one or two scraggly teenagers with their hair over their eyes. It's very reminiscent of these.
They're like
these
Highland
shaggy-
cows, and I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. And so yeah, you eventually make your way to a one of what looks like seemingly identical rows of farmland. And Harland, remind me, do you have a surname or no?
Not that he can recall.
Okay, good to know. So you come across a particular Harland. You're watching the farmland as you go, and you're like, okay, don't remember what it's called. But you remember if you saw it, so you're kind of like paying attention to what's going on in each of the fields. You see there's like orchards as you go by. There's like cattle, there's the Highland sheep, but then there's also like some dire boar being wrangled, big honking things with huge tusks, and they're just kind of feeding off these massive piles of, I mean, it looks like sort of not garbage, but it maybe looks like food waste, so like apple cores and eggshells and stuff, just giant piles of them being poured out of buckets.
Can we ride those?
You know, I was wondering the same thing, because size-wise, that's as much bigger than me,
right?
as the Tuskendale's mount was to him.
Exactly.
So you didn't hear this from me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my cousins and I would ride about every month or so. We'd go out and we'd do what we call boar tipping. And
Dangerous proposition.
you don't necessarily ride them because they don't take too kindly to that, and they don't take much more kindly to being tipped.
What if you start with like a baby one?
Then the mothers get involved, and it's definitely a bad time.
No, I mean like training a baby one.
Training a dire boar.
Like, that's gonna be a thing, right?
I don't see why not. I mean, they're big enough that you and I could ride on one together, Paru.
What is it you say? Onward?
Yep, onward.
Do this understanding that I cannot advise it.
Noted.
Okay.
All right.
So what do you do?
I'm passing by for now. I'm just mentally filing that away for later.
In the dead of night, our dark deeds shall be done.
Dark deeds shall be done.
Crime.
Some of you may die, but it is
The
a
new
risk
crime buddies!
No. God.
Paru
I
gets
will
drunk
say-
on moonshine and go rides a dire boar.
Oh god.
Just continuing to twist a little bit. every time you think that, Paru, and there's just a little bit of a like at the prospect of having to get a new crime buddy. And there's a bit of it's like for now.
Because he's right behind us. I swear he better fucking be right behind us.
That son of a bitch. Yeah. And so as you continue walking past these dire boar, Harland, you start getting very distinct rushes of nostalgia as you're walking by a very particular giant oak tree. It's sort of forked at the top. There's a swing hanging from it, with like basically a barrel ring and a bunch of ropes at the top. So you'd like sit inside the barrel and like swing from it. And there's, some of it's been fixed a little bit, but you see the fencing, you recognize the wood of the fencing. There's like wire going across it. You see in the near distance a very large, essentially a few more oak trees and a giant treehouse sort of looking thing. It's like a mix between a farmhouse and a treehouse. It's a little low. It's built into the trees. And you see sort of like some of the branches have grown into the shape of the walls. Like that's sort of the structure of it. And then there's been more added to it to make the house. But it's covered in this beautiful shade with these big branches and leaves. And you see a sign out at the end of a drive, basically a path. And it says Fire Branch Ranch.
I think this is familiar, but can one of y'all read that to me?
I can. It says Fire Branch Ranch.
Yep, that's it. Yep, we turn in right here.
And so you all turn down this sort of gravelly path, sort of dirt and gravel. Takes a little bit of a ways to get towards the house, but around you are these like really nice fields, and you see like huge sort of like goats, like mountain goat looking, like shaggy goats, real long hair, and a farmland off to the side with various crops being sort of rotated in. There's a few different ones, and you occasionally catch a glimpse of a tall figure walking through the fields, or like off in the distance you'll see, and Harland, you hear it before you see it. And bounding up from around the house is a very droopy, shadowy bloodhound looking dog with tentacles on its tail, like, and as it like sort of bounds towards you with like ears and everything just flopping, there is a little flash of light and it disappears, and it goes right in front of you, Harland, and just jumps right up on you. This thing is almost as tall as you are when it has its paws up on your shoulders, and there's just drool everywhere.
Oh, Mimi, you big old lout. Oh, you just give me a big old kiss. Why don't you? Oh, just, yes.
It's
yes.
indecent. It's just the
Yes,
tongue everywhere.
I love you too. I love...
Maybe close your mouth, Harlan.
That's enough. Y'all, you get down now, Mimi. That's enough. Friends, this is Mimi.
And you see this blink sheepdog, kind of like big droopy face. Like I said, it basically looks like a bloodhound, but with like tentacles sort of drooping on the ground behind it.
Hi,
I am so torn. Chris, love this. Oliette hates this.
There's just like drool coming down the dog's face. It kind of comes up to you, Paru, like hits
Like
you with its head.
probably
like, big
knocks
dog.
Paru over.
Big dog. You kind of hold onto it, like try not to fall over. Mimi, she does have a collar, like a big leather collar, so you can be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she grabs onto the collar because, I mean, she's barely 3 feet tall, and if this dog is able to be on Harlan's shoulders,
Yeah.
way bigger than Paru.
Yeah, and
She's,
Faze is
who's a
pretty
good
much
girl?
Jimbo.
Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? And it's like scratching behind, like by the collar. Oh,
Yeah,
she's a
there's
sweet
lot
baby.
Of, there's a lot of extra skin flaps going on with this dog.
If you get her just with it, just about a foot above where the tentacles start, she'll do something real funny.
Can I reach that spot on her, or is that like ridiculous?
You can try.
I'll try to reach and see if I can do it.
Mimi, sit.
Oh, that's much easier. Thank you. And then she'll scratch.
And you are scratching, and there's just like Mimi's like ear starts twitching, and just boom, and then boom back on her back on the ground a few feet away from you.
Oh, it's so cute.
She's really sweet.
More of a savory,
Yeah,
but
so-
yes.
Cute.
Gross.
Wonderful.
True. I mean, Paro, you definitely have like some stain now, and Harland all over the front of your shirt. It's perfect.
Well, I'm gonna need a dip in the pond, is what I'm on.
And you hear some creaking up at the farm or at the house, and see a very very tall, little almost a little taller than Harland, big broad-chested fellow, has bright red hair in sort of tufts and braids. There's a beard with a little tie on it. Wearing just sort of peasanty clothes, sort of stitched in odd places where there would have been a tear somewhere, and just big low ears, looking out, has a big stick of something in his teeth, and this guy trots down a little bit, and he's like, "Well, how are you now?"
Good, and you?
Fine, doing fine, very good. I help y'all.
Well, we were
Chewing
hoping
on
for
a
some.
stick.
We were hoping for some a place to stay and some hospitality. We'd love to do a bit of work as on the.
Bit of choring, you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paro leans over to Oliette. Did he say horse brutality?
Horse brutality.
I don't
So,
know,
what
but
does
if
that
they
horse
think
have? A
I'm mucking
knife?
any stables, they have another thing coming.
Fellow comes down from the stairs. Harlan, do you recognize this as your paw? It's Hector.
Does he look like Harland?
A little bit. There's a little bit of a resemblance. You might get a suspicion maybe Harlan takes more after his mom in terms of good looks. This guy's a little more scraggly. All right, name's Hector.
Name's Harlan.
Huh. Which one of that is? Still has his hand out.
Harlan will reach out and probably for the first time shake his father's hand.
Probably.
That's
Kind of chews a
adorable.
little. Kind of chews a little on a stick. Looks you dead in the eyes, Harlan. He's a man who looks a man in the eye. Head kind of quirks. Nice to meet all you. He looks a little little uncertain. uh, Francine, we got guests. Yeah, y'all just come on in, get you settled, see if maybe there's something we can set you up with.
Well, mighty obliged. Well, thank you very much. Thank you kindly.
Sure thing. It's very uncertain, but you know, the rules of hospitality have definitely taken over. So so he turns back and wanders back to the house, leads y'all to the house, and it's warm and homey inside, very similar to the outside of the house, though there is this sort of sheen of nature vibes. Everything's very organically structured. It looks like they probably grew their furniture. Big wooden pieces, some of them not even cut from the branch of these trees that are, you know, cohabitating the space with this house. And there's some sort of roughshod stairs built into one of the trunks that leads to a second floor. And you come into the house and you smell food, real good food, fatty, fried, just glorious food. Olia is so angry. And even the thought of it, it's like they might not know what salads are. Olia.
Haru
At
is
least there's moonshine.
Haru is all about the natural
Smells like
decor.
butter
She's
and
so excited.
Yeah, it's a lovely home. It's lit in these little you see, I mean, honestly, Haru, you see these little mushrooms that glow, and they're kind of providing this warm sort of light in the home. And I mean, the windows are also about getting lots of sunlight in, but Hector Firebranch walks into leads y'all into the kitchen. And Franny, we got some folk here, maybe looking to get a little bit of choring done, and looking maybe for a meal and a place to lay their head. And Francine, Harlan, your mother, has her back turned, is looking over a fire pit sort of thing. Lots of stone building into this little sort of chimney space, and there's a bar over it, and she's working in a pot. She's like, oh well, you know, great day for hay and all that. You know, it'd be a good time to get a little extra hands around here. And she turns, and you see the rest of you. I mean, it's your mother, Harlan, but the rest of you see a very sweet face. That's where Harlan gets it. You see a lot of Harlan and his mama. And she has darker brown hair in these sort of shaggy little braids. There's occasionally a little bit of accent. There's maybe a little bit of flowers braided in her hair somewhere, and she's got like a couple feather earrings that are very cute. Also much like Hector, wearing very plain clothes in browns and greens. She has a shawl braided, or a shawl over her shoulders that looks to be like homespun, and she also has some tattoos down her arms. She's got sort of light blue vines and leaves down her arms. And she has this big old spoon in her hands, and she's like, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. She looks at you, Harlan. Huh. Almost identical reaction to Hector, but then looks and is like, that's the oddest thing. You just have the spitting image of my boy Harlan. He says his name's Harlan. Huh. kind of sits there for a minute, just watching.
Hi, Mama.
And her eyes go wide. Harlan. She looks up at her husband. What is it? What is this? What happened? Harlan? And she like puts the spoon down and she walks up to you and you're just like not used to towering over this woman. She's not much shorter than you, but it's enough to be very disconcerting. And she just kind of like puts her hands on either side of your face and is like, "Oh, honey, what'd you get into?"
I got into a book.
Uh-huh.
I still ain't learned to read.
Oh, honey. And she just like wraps you like as best she can. You're still very broad. Just sort of wraps you in a hug. And Hector's just watching with this like stick coming out of his teeth and he's like, "What in the hell happened, boy? You just like walk somewhere and you sneeze wrong and poof, like cabbages came to life and you aged a decade?"
Not in so many steps, but I mean there were cabbages and there were eggplants and dancing beets.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Chews a little harder. He kind of starts picking his teeth with the stick.
But what it's worth, the whole agent thing really isn't his fault.
It kind of happened to all of us.
It just kind of crept up on me, you know. It was one birthday and then another one, and it just kept happening.
Your mama is not listening to you. She's just like, "Oh, honey." It seems a little like they might not be catching on to what you're throwing down. It seems like maybe they think Harlan just got cursed. They're not quite getting that there's a time passage thing happening here. But they're friendly enough.
If I may, I'm Paru, by the way.
Who are you addressing? Both of them, or
Both
just...
of them.
Okay.
Mainly right now, Hector, because Francine is like holding Harlan. I mean, Harlan saved my skin on more than one occasion. We got trapped in, I guess you would call it like a different realm. It's hard to explain. For you guys, it's been a couple of hours. For us, it's been years and years. We just got back, and it seems like no time at all has passed here, but we all grew up unexpectedly and away from everything. So for you, it's been a couple of days since you've seen Harlan. For Harlan, it's been a couple of decades since he's seen you.
I've raised at least 15 bonds.
Hector kind of chews a little harder on the back of his molars. Got a little cow vibe to him right now with the chewing. And he kind of just plops down.
Harlan's made quite the name for himself.
That's true.
You'd be very
Even
proud
him.
of him. Oh.
Oh, you got that right. It's a lot to take in. To
We might have lost audio.
It's back now. Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
My computer had a hiccup.
It's fine. So he's smoking this stick now, and you just kind of a little bit of smoke comes out. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot to take in. Kind of just absorbing all that. But you look strong, Harlan.
Not so much, but I do have my ways, and I have learned my skills, and I've done plenty of good work for plenty of good folk.
You were the champion of a queen, Harland. That's nothing to sneeze at.
I was gonna brag.
Mm-hmm.
Then let us brag for you.
Yeah, we could brag for hours.
Hector kind of glances a little bit at you, Paru. At that, he's just kind of assessing the dynamic here, looking at each of you.
Oliette has instinctively, maybe not even realizing it, is stepping backwards away from this show of like familial love. This is a little bit much. And is just kind of not like leaving, but just
but it's a lot. You're kind of
overwhelmed.
fading a little back, like
noticeably overwhelmed. Yeah.
Sure. And yeah, so Hector just kind of listens. Well, I mean, by all means, please brag away. Has a little bit of a smirk. His brain seems to be catching up a little with what you're all talking about, and Francine just kind of still petting Harland, rubbing his back a little bit, like, and then oh shit, she backs up and goes back to the pot.
I love her. I love her.
Yeah, and she starts working on the food again. It seems like she's making some sort of stew,
So
filling the room with lots of really good smell.
Yo, this is Paru and Beza and Oliette.
She kind of glances over her shoulder. It's an absolute joy and treasure to meet all of you. Just absolutely pleased as punch to meet friends of Harland. And she, like, at the word, it seems like that in and of itself is maybe a bit of a novelty, and she's sort of charmed by that. And so Hector is standing up at this point, kind of leaning against this really big, blocky table, seemed built to hold a furball when leaning against it. Kind of like, well, not to get back on the matter of business, but y'all, I mean, you honest to God came to stay, boy, or you are in a visiting mood? What is it you're looking for?
I believe that we have several rounds to make. We were just this is the first stop on our home tour, as it were, getting back to the Chronos.
Well, you take your rest, take your ease here. No reason to. I mean, chorin will be expected.
I wouldn't want to put you out, and of course we
Sure.
would. Of course, I'm not sure that my old bed would still fit me.
And
I'll take the pillows though.
Yeah, Francine's like, oh, I am absolutely sure your sister won't mind sharing. And
Which one?
Oh goodness. Oh, Arabeth. She's out doing something right now. Your older sister. The oldest of the Fire Branch kids. And so you actually, like, almost as if on cue, you hear a very loud, joyful sort of voice ring out from the yard. Where is he? Where is my baby brother?
Oh, laws.
That was fast.
Yeah, good news travels really quick around here.
Yeah, it does. Bad news too.
Oh.
I hope you don't mind. I did. I gave her a bit of a heads up.
That's
see,
cool.
Oh,
yeah.
You're magic users too.
Here and there. What needs getting done, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah, news around here travels faster than a fart in a fan factory.
Oh, Harlan, gross.
Francine also says Harlan at the same time as Paro.
It's times like
And-
that I'm glad I don't have to breathe.
There's that.
And so Harlan, you hear this sort of shout out for you. Where are you, Squirt?
This ought to be funny.
In the kitchen.
Who's that?
It's Squirt.
What in the hell? I didn't think your voice dropped that hard. She and busting through the door is Arabelle Firebranch. Arabelle, your oldest sister, is a strapping example of a furbolg. She's got sort of windswept brown hair and just basically wearing
Angela.
yeah,
No,
I have this
no.
problem.
Angela.
No.
And
Why?
She's got her sleeves rolled up, and she's got a bunch of she's also got the same like big lobed ears as Harlan. Looks a little like him, maybe a bit more like athletic than him, and has a big row of green earrings down one ear, and she just kind of looks around and she's just like, what?
Hi, Ari.
Jason Paru pointing up at Harlan.
Mm-hmm.
What in the
I fell into
Lundy?
a book.
What the hell?
I fell into a book.
Was it a... I don't have a good joke for that.
Wasn't
kinda
much of
just-
one.
Come here, you donk. And she like wanders up to him and tries to do something she does to you every time she hugs you, which is does not work this time. And she's just like, this isn't fair, you son of a bitch.
I beg your pardon.
You son of a wonderful woman. Francine's just like, you two.
Well, we are quickly cluttering up the kitchen with our smells and our noise, so we should step out back.
Ah, shit, you're right. Come on. Oh, and I want to meet your friends. You
Right.
got friends. That's weird.
Yeah, yep.
She
I
kind of
would
like
be the
backs,
first.
she kind of like backs up towards the door, just kind of hops down, kind of sort of like glancing back the whole time, trying to like get a handle on who all's here. And Hector is just like, you start choring in the morning, you guys can just take your ease for now. Stay for dinner, obviously.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy to help wherever
Yeah.
I'm needed.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm good at hunting.
Ari, this is Paru and Beza and Oliette.
Hi.
Hi there. This
Everyone,
is
this is Ari. My eldest, the only older sister.
well, like not your big sister no more. Like what the hell?
My big little sister.
I don't
my
like
little
that
big
one bit.
my little big sister. Is that better?
You know, if I was wondering if this was you, like I'm real damn sure now.
Yep.
Dang it, son! And she like smacks you on the chest. Like, look at you.
Look at me.
Got all like you got all. She like kind of crouches up. She's again not that much shorter than you, but enough. And she kind of like scratches up to like pop up your hat, and you don't have that big poof of like scratchy hair anymore. It's just like combed back. She's like, you went and goddamn got yourself all dapper.
Yep. Oh, almost got me, Ange. Okay. I'm a dapper Dan for
You are. I mean, I saw y'all coming up the laneway. Didn't just thought you were some kind of like traveling sales folk or something, just trying to put one over on us. And here I am, and you got all big.
Yep. Last I checked.
You don't get any like jump the line rights. I just want to put that out there.
Wouldn't dream of it. Our stay here is very temporary. We've got to go visit Bezos and Paru's and Oliet's family as well. This is just
I mean, we can
our first stop.
take our time at the other stops, and here I'm not in any rush.
I mean, tomorrow night's get together. Gotta be at the shindig. You ain't coming home like this, all like this. You can't not come.
What's a shindig?
It's like a large party where there are two separate tables, one for the little ones and one for the big ones. And I imagine,
I think you have upgraded.
I get to sit at the big boy table now.
Do Paru and I have to sit at the kids' table even though we're adults?
No, we'll find you some. We've got all sorts of folk that come to the shindigs. We'll find you a chair that's appropriate for one of your stature.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I could
don't
sit up in the
worry.
tree and I'll be very happy.
I mean, I
Little
don't
trees,
need, so
I
technically I could just stand next to you guys.
You should go over to the furniture forest.
Oh, they still crafting out that way.
Yeah, I mean they're a little low right now on inventory, and it takes a couple decades to grow a chair. But you know, there's still a few out there.
Well,
I
all
might
right
be
then,
able
we
to
might
help
do that.
speed some along.
And she kind of really.
Just a little.
I will have to take you up on that.
Sure.
I like your new friends, Lundy.
Me too. I definitely am rather partial to all of them. Wish that they were all here.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully he'll get here soon.
Right. There's one more. He's wearing. He's rather cuts a rakish figure. He's got an eye patch over one of the two. One of his eyes. He should be along shortly.
Keep an eye. Sorry, poor word choice. I'll keep an eye out for him.
I'm sure he would be mighty obliged for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, Harlan, you're gonna just have like a beast of a time. I mean, you could, I mean, you can't probably tell Mama about it, but I would absolutely let you hang out at Uncle Charlie's.
You know, that had been brought up on the metronome on the way here. We might be interested in that and a little bit the old
Corn chowder.
Is that a
wink.
euphemism for something?
No, he was literally talking about corn chowder. No, sorry, that was in character, Chris.
Yes.
My brain was like,
That's
I
only
can't
it.
now.
Sorry.
No, totally fine.
Well, there is both corn chowder and the moonshine is made from corn, so it
It's all kind of different types of corn chowder if you really think about it.
The moonshine's more of a maize than it is a corn. It's not really
Sure.
an eaten corn.
Don't be pedantic, Lundy.
You people and your
I would
eating.
never.
Truly, he would never.
Noted.
That's pedantic.
I have no idea, but I would never.
I'll tell you later.
Right.
When I'm older.
Mm,
I feel like Elba's. Oh yeah.
So,
she'll reluctantly smile.
So Arabeth gives you all a tour of the Fire Branch Ranch. Eventually, Mimi, the blank sheepdog, bounds up, starts like rams you in the leg, Harlan, but does not knock you over. But just kind of like hangs out near you, very excited. As Arabeth gives y'all a tour of sort of some of the facilities, and she seems incredibly well versed in what this place is. Very knowledgeable, very business savvy. You ask her any questions about how the place runs, she's got the answers on the tip of her fingers. Like she's very well educated on the way the ranch works. And it does come up over the conversation that that Arabeth's actually being groomed to take over the ranch eventually. I mean, well, you know, like Daddy keeps talking like he's gonna retire anytime soon, but he is in the prime of his midlife, so I'm sure it'll be some time. But you know, never hurts to have an extra pair of hands, extra brain on things. So
I mean, he just passed 300, didn't he?
yeah, but he runs like a solid 200.
That is true.
Mm.
You know,
Whatever. Mimi keeps him young. What can I say?
you know,
Haru's
on-
eyes
on
just
that-
kind of like.
Just drool.
you know, on that point, you know, he's all acting all slow, but I've heard him and Ma moving furniture at like 2 in the morning.
Oh,
and
Harland.
They like to rearrange the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it.
Arabeth has this like got your hand caught in the cookie jar face.
What?
How many haylofts have you been caught in? And you think your mama and dad are rearranging furniture in the bedroom?
Pardon? Arabeth has this look of absolute abject horror on her face, except
This is the most delighted I have been since arriving to this ranch.
Charisma of 8. I have
No,
no
but it
boundaries of what
immediately-
is not okay to talk about with family.
Not to mention all the harlots and the harlequins following you around all the time.
Yeah.
Harlan?
Oh, he's got fan clubs.
She just like pushes you out of the way, Harlan, and looks right at you, Par. We are having a very, very long, very, well, not super detailed conversation in a few.
Champion of a queen, that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, god damn it, Harlan. You gotta show me up now.
I would never. I would never.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really long story.
Well, you got all night to horrify me with the details.
Olietza actually got the long and short of it all chronicled. Yeah. So she'd be the best one to tell it.
Well, we're
Well,
nothing
that'd be
if not fans of stories by the fire, so if you have any inclinations, you could share something tonight.
She tells amazing stories.
It's seriously like magic.
Mm.
Sounds like we have ourselves a plan for this evening. Suddenly much more interesting than my intentions, so y'all have my undivided.
I mean, moonshine, we could do both.
Oh,
She just kind of
um,
crooks a grin.
that was a given. Sorry. And so yeah, Arabeth continues giving y'all a tour of the farmstead, and
While the tour is going on,
Yeah.
Harlan would like kind of hang back just about 10 steps or so, and like motion to Paru and Beza, like come on up, like towards Mimi, like pointing towards Mimi. Like,
okay, turns it up, yeah.
Okay.
climb on up and just grab onto the collar.
Right.
And just say
I have a feeling we are about to be bamboozled Mimi, get.
And Mimi just, there's a moment of like,
Oh God.
like a good like 5 to 6 feet ahead of where you started, and she's already in a full-on like lobbing sprint. She's not like super graceful. There's a lot of like boom, 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 lots of the ear. I will say there are definitely 2 very floppy ears hitting you in the face right now with the motion.
Paru is just cackling delightedly.
Watch out for the backsplash. I didn't warn him about the backsplash.
Forget the dire boars. This is amazing.
You're like, wait, is it raining? Oh God.
Oh.
And so yeah, you Mimi takes a full lap around this large area of the farm. You barely even have time to like duck under a branch as you by an orchard. And she's just like loping around, and eventually you hear Arabeth whistle with her fingers, and there's another and your vision is suddenly cut off as you're suddenly going a completely different direction, and bounding towards Arabeth. And
Oh my
and,
God.
yeah, and Mimi just kind of like slides to a stop, and there's just a big old lurch. And she sits, and you're just at like a 45-degree angle holding onto this dog.
Onward!
Paru is laughing so hard she's crying. She's got like tears streaming down her face. She's just laughing, and she's like, "That was amazing. We totally deserved that."
I don't think Mimi's had that kind of fun for years. None of us have been small enough to ride her for a very long time.
I was just getting a little bit too big when I left.
Well, I'm sure there's a bit of relief in her now that it's not even an attempt.
I wouldn't dream of putting the old girl through that.
And Arabeth's crouched down and kind of like smushing Mimi's face.
The best part, Paru, is that we're not going to get any bigger, so we could do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Full grown, the pair of us.
Well, y'all are welcome to hang out. We're wrapping up choring for today. It's getting a little dark. Well, getting a little hot actually. And yeah, we usually just kind of take our time, but some of the family's gonna be hanging out today, so there's gonna be a little bit of a crowd this evening. So if you want to help us set up, we're gonna clear out some of the barn space so that there's room for everybody.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfection. And Arabeth takes you out to a barn nearby the house, and there's just like equipment and stuff to move out of the way, hay and stuff just kind of spread. Occasionally you find like a little like kangaroo rabbit with little antlers. Jump
Is
out of the way.
my strength back to what it was? Or I can't remember if that was a day or two or if it was an hour or two that my strength is.
You have taken a rest at this point. That is like you slowly felt yourself on
Okay.
the train getting a little stronger. So
Okay.
anybody who had any sort of like ding to their strength,
Cool.
it's back to normal. now.
Awesome. No longer at a 7.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, that's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you all help clear out a little bit. You meet a couple more of Harlan's cousins, and siblings. There's a lot of them. It's hard to keep track of them. That's me quietly saying. I have pictures, but no names and personalities yet. Though one in particular doesn't seem like he's very keen on helping. You see a sort of teen-looking furbolg with a big mop of dark hair that just kind of like over his eyes, and kind of has this very vacant look on his face, the lower half of his face that you can see, and just kind of has like little like twigs and things growing out of his hair. And and he's just like hanging up on the loft up in the barn, just kind of like supervising. Is that maybe a thing we'd call it? And he's just kind of kicking his legs, looking down.
Ollie, you might actually enjoy conversating with him. He's got some interesting ideas about artwork and how to properly deal with societal ills.
This is Harlan's brother, Tucker.
Tucker. I guess as we're like milling around in here, I guess we're like moving stuff around, or we're just arriving and these people are there already.
They all sort of congregate while you guys were the first there to start moving around stuff, and then eventually there's others. You don't necessarily see Tucker climb up to the top of the rafters, but you then see him. He's up there. Sort of, it's the hayloft, and he's just kind of like, well, you can't see his eyes. The hair is still in his eyes, and he's just got this huge, like I said, this huge mop of brown hair. Rest of him's blue, though. Fuzzy blue, light blue, like the rest of Harlan's family.
A little twinge in my heart as I think of Blaine. Angsty teenage Blaine.
A little bit. And so yeah, so the rest of y'all are getting chores to handed to you to go clean up certain things, or like, all right, you gotta like sweep these rattalope out of the barn, and
rattalope, like actual animals.
Yeah, they were little rats that had kangaroo feet and little antlers. They were just kind of swarming around.
Paru changes into a cat and literally like mouses them out.
Oh, and there is sort of a little round of applause and like some laughter, some chuckles here and there from some of the other farm hands as you do this, and then yeah, you chase them out. You actually give me an intimidation check.
I think I might
as well.
Where did that? No, my charisma is an 8. All right, we'll see how this goes.
With advantage because you are dealing with animals, I would say.
Okay. That's an 18, so 17.
17. Okay, yeah, you managed to kind of shove some of these rats around, and I mean you got the cat vibe going, so you sort of hiss at a few of them and they go scattering, and yeah, so you get a bunch of them out, and by the time you get back and sort of back to your normal size, there's a little bit of applause. People are just like, that was pretty damn good. Yeah, I never seen a chorn like that. That's great.
She does kind of like a little curtsy as oh, thanks. Happy to help.
and so yeah, so you make a little bit of impression with some of Harlan's cousins. They yeah, and Arabeth's just like, I mean, how come I never thought of doing that? That's a way better trick than to deal with them than trying to like sweep them out with the big ass broom.
Or remember when Uncle Charlie tried to kick him out with just flooding the barn?
Oh yeah. See, tidal wave does not a good hay cleaning apparatus make.
Works great in the stables though.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not about to complain about that. And so there's a lot of chatter. There's a weirdness between Harlan and Arabeth in the way of like they were not like on equal footing when Harlan was here last. Like there was definitely like a different dynamic, and they seem to be trying to navigate something a little different. Like Arabeth's trying, like every so often you get kind of like the teasing remark here and there, but like half the shit that she's teasing you about, nothing to do with you now. It's all about you being like little shy Harlan, and that does not seem to be the person you are now. And so she's trying to acclimate to that as best she can. occasionally you get that, oh hell, Harlan, this ain't fair.
I'd like to see. I don't mind you reminiscing about my failings and foibles when I was much a younger Holland, but I want to
like
introduce you to the
a week
phrase.
ago.
Sorry,
phrase.
my insulin pump is
That's
going crazy
fine.
right now. I want to introduce you to the phrase. I remember when you. That might make this transition just a bit easier.
All right. I will. We'll give it a go. I remember when you used to listen to me more.
What was that?
You smartass. And and so you spend a little time, like I said, getting a better handle on your relationship to your sister. There's a lot for her to unpack. She's trying to deal with it. But so as the evening gets closer, you see a few more faces in on the farm. Lots more furbolgs. Seems like this is a fairly large family, and I mean, most of them are sort of like there's a casualness to it. People are, oh, I haven't seen you in ages. How are you now? Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
How's your mom?
And and but then there's a few folk that just seem like they don't know many people either, like people coming from the fire branches, from distant coming in. So this seems like this might have been a bigger shindig than Francine let on, or rather than Arabeth let on. And so by the evening there's a big fire pit, and folks are chatting away. There's some food being shared around, and yeah, so you all are sort of in the mix of this very large congregation of tall giant kin. And Harlan, you kind of weirdly blend in now in a way you didn't before. So just assuming that this is sort of a standard cookout sort of situation, what do you think y'all are doing during some of the evening here, trying to find something to do? Y'all hanging out close to each other, you like sort of sticking to the edges, trying to participate and like hang out? There's a lot of like games going on, kind of like horseshoe looking things. And
I was gonna say, I feel like Beza probably would have gravitated towards the horseshoes.
Yeah. So yeah, they're very big horseshoes, but you don't have much problem with them.
I feel like it would remind her a lot of probably some of the accuracy games.
Oh sure,
with the hunters.
absolutely. Yeah, and then you impress quite a bit. You don't have much of a problem. But just for the sake of it, go ahead and give me an athletics check. See how you do.
Okay. Wasn't a fantastic roll. It's a 12.
12. Well, it's got some funky rules to it. The game, there's little tricks to things that you got to learn the rules. So like your first time playing, it's like, oh well, you got it. You got pretty damn close there. You just got to practice. It's definitely a game of experience giving you the advantage. I don't feel bad. It's fine. But man, let me tell you, like I did not expect you to be able to toss those two at once, because there's some other extra rules to it. You were trying some of the more advanced techniques that they talked about.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I'm stronger than I look.
Oh, it's mighty impressive, Miss Beza. So these are just a couple more of Harlan's cousins. You got a guy with sort of like a big swash of white shaggy hair and like a big cow nose ring, and a fiery redhead. woman who was teaching everybody how to play the game. She seems like she's more the master of ceremonies. And there is a, as you guys are going around spending time with the Fire Branch family, there is a particular member of the family that everybody makes a very important point to be deferent to, and you're wondering why, and then eventually you find out that this is Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie, technically Uncle Charbrook, but no one calls him that. Uncle Charlie is a sort of slightly hunched, little older gentleman, very bookish looking, very unassuming, gentle furbolg. Whom, like I said, everyone sort of makes a point to be like, "Oh, hey, Uncle Charlie, how you doing today?" Looks great. And that first shindig, ain't it? And he's just like, "Yeah, you know, I suppose. Pretty nice day. Good dirt day, I suppose." Just like, "Oh yeah, you know, Uncle Charlie." And as the sort of grouping gets together, I will say something I forgot to mention. Makes a lot of sense though. The more people show up, the more you start hearing bits and pieces of people talking about Harland. Little Harland came home today, and the strangest thing, and so Harland, you find yourself kind of talking to a lot of people tonight. Folks you haven't spoken to in years. Even if you had stayed here, it would have been years since you talked to some of these folks. And some of your cousins, just kind of like lots of like, "I remember when you were this tall," hitting your bottom of your thigh, like you were and lots of kind of like sort of punches to the shoulder, being like, "Oh, you got yourself some bulk on you, boy." And a lot of that. I assume that Harland is ever the gentleman about all of that.
Oh yeah, he spent years in the realm of the Queen of the Folk, so I imagine like good-natured ribbing happened a lot. This is just like distilled, like a lot of it all at once.
Yeah, it's a lot of just like, right, okay, so how do I approach doing this? There's this and then this.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna
go ahead. Sorry.
throw him aside. Hey Aliette, are you gonna get up and tell the story at some point? It might save Holland from all these questions. Well, he'd probably get other questions, but at least he wouldn't have to repeat some of the basic ones.
Maybe. I don't. There's like a lot of love here. This is not deal. I don't get this at all.
It is a lot. I mean, I'm used to camaraderie. This is a little bit different level. It's not bad, but it's different.
Yeah. Maybe. I am going to, during the course of this, honestly, this is so far out of Aliette's element. She's probably been a bit of a wallflower for most of the evening. Just kind of observing, definitely keeping tabs on Uncle Charlie, just making sure he doesn't leave or get too far away. Yeah, but for the most part, honestly, has just been kind of like very quiet, kind of trying to like, she's reverting a little bit back to old Aliette, like doesn't know how to be here, doesn't know how to be part of this, and is just kind of staying back.
Are there more of the like phosphorescent mushrooms in the trees around the area and in the barn and stuff?
Yeah, they're growing around all over the place.
Haru has probably found herself in a tree kind of around the outskirts by where the mushrooms are growing, and is just kind of like every now and again touching one and kind of letting her spores dance around it at the same time, like,
sure,
this is as close to home and comfort as I can get, so this is what I'm gonna stick with. And also keeps looking over her shoulder out towards the road, trying to see if anybody's walking up.
You occasionally see more furbolgs.
Just keeping an eye out for Valine. Or Button. So she's just every now and again just, touches the mushroom and puts out a few more of her spores. And makes a little light show, I guess, of just a really small, subtle one that is comforting to her.
Yeah. Eventually, Oliette, you're that sort of fading into the background thing, and you wander over to a spot. You see, like, some people are kind of congregating around the spot you had staked out as, like, I'm hanging here, and you kind of gently excuse yourself, move to a further back table, and you see up in a on a branch on a tree, you see Tucker, this big shaggy brown hair, just kind of like not wandering, but like sort of watching everything. He's working in a little book, little leather bound book, very roughshod looking thing. And he's just kind of writing. He looks to be writing something.
Hold on, I got to check my. Oh, I don't have it today. Oh, I am going to. I do. Well, I was gonna do. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I think I will. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to like pop my wings out and flutter up there and sit next to Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily say anything at first, but I am trying to get a look in this book.
Sure.
And gauge his reaction to me sitting next to him.
Yeah, you hop down and you just kind of see him, like, his head inches over a little bit. You can't see his eyes, but his expression doesn't change, and he just sort of wanders back to looking at his book. And you look down, and you sort of kind of glance over at the book.
Yeah, I don't want to look too eager. Like, hello.
And he's doing a what looks to be it looks like instead of a pencil, he's actually got like a little thing of charcoal, like a little stick of charcoal in his hand. And he's working on he's writing out a little bit in thick letters names of the family members if he sees someone, and he's doing like a little like finger smudge sketch of each of the family members that he's sort of fixating on.
You're like pretty good at that, I guess.
Thank you, I guess.
Yeah. Are you the only I mean, I haven't seen a book since I got here, so.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Mostly
do you only draw?
Doing
Go ahead.
stuff. They're mostly about doing stuff, not reading or turning pages. If it's not a accounting ledger.
I didn't see you at all today during the what do you call it? Choring?
That was by design.
Where were you hiding?
Here and there.
You're gonna have to teach me sometime.
Kind of glances over, still can't see his eyes. Maybe you planning on sticking around? Thought y'all were moving through.
How did you... Can you all do the thing where you just talk to each other? Is that a thing here?
No, everybody gossips incessantly.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
No, I don't know how to do that. That's not a thing I do. But I mean I can. And he like actually pulls his leg up a little bit to like turn a little bit towards you on the branch, and he puts his hand down on the tree branch, and you watch as you see a little shimmer and his skin starts looking like bark. And he sort of like
I love Tucker.
He's sort of like, but then you see, like, you look past him, you look at him, and you start seeing the branches behind him. It's like he's camouflaging into the space.
That's
yes,
like
doesn't take
pretty
much.
rad.
Thanks.
I cannot do that.
Uh-huh.
I can do this, and I'm going to disguise self and make myself look like Tucker.
You don't see a smile, but you do hear a. That's pretty good.
I mean, it's not as cool as turning into a tree and disguising
watch,
yourself.
Yeah, you watch the camouflage sort of fade a little bit. And he's back.
I'm not gonna drop it yet. I want it to be like if anybody glances up here and sees us
Two
talking, there's two Tuckers.
Heck yeah. And so yeah, he goes, yeah, no, you know, not a lot of people have books, but it's sort of my job, so they leave me alone.
What do you mean your job?
Oh, I'm gonna be a chronicler.
Out of character. Do I know what that is?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Supposed to take down the family history, what goes on at the parties and stuff. So it's less about going to the parties and more about talking about the parties, or talking about them on paper.
Huh. I mean, that's pretty wild. I kind of have the same job.
Huh. What are you chronicling?
Well, that's the tricky part. It's not kind of what's happening, even though it hasn't happened yet. I don't know, it's messy. It's a mess.
Sounds it.
Yeah. So, just out of curiosity, if you're chronicling this party, are you putting us in this book? Are we going to be in this story?
Probably. At least in an appendix. It's mostly about the family tree.
That's fair. Okay.
Harlan's getting a lot of pages, but that's mostly because they asked me to.
Huh.
Big news at these things tend to get, say front page important.
So, who's going to write the story when it's your front page day?
Kind of stops sketching. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, when big things happen, I assume.
Oh, they don't happen to me.
Well, what's the criteria? What do you have to do to be special enough to get on the front page?
Well, you're big and loud like Arabeth, or you make big and loud following you like Harlan. It's okay though. And he kind of wipes the charcoal off the page. It's a picture of Uncle Charlie, looking a little squirrely.
Beautiful.
But no, it's okay. I get to, and he turns to the front of the book. I get to put my name on here.
Okay, I get that. I will at this point. I'll drop I'm not gonna stay creepy, Tucker. I'm gonna drop that.
Sure. When you drop it, he goes, "Thank you. That was very disconcerting."
I mean, yeah, I get it. I get, well, yeah, I get it. I don't really get most of this. This is super not my deal, but I
want parties.
No, I'm very good at parties. This is very, I don't know what the word is. Homey? I don't know.
No,
but of all the jobs I've seen so far, I feel like you have the coolest one. I'll tell you that.
He looks at you, even though again can't see his face, can't see his eyes, but he seems to actually genuinely be looking at you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, so where's this moonshine shack? Is that like happening tonight? How does that work? Do we have to get a ticket, or how's it go?
Well, you gotta be told where it
Told.
is. Make friends with someone. Arabeth will know. Oh, who else would know? And he kind of looks around the room, or looks around the space in the ground. Oh, Montgomery will know. And you see at the horseshoes near where Baze is playing. How do I describe Montgomery? You see a showboat of a man. Broad-chested, bare-chested, Fabio hair in green.
Stop.
Yep.
Stop right now.
And he's
Don't,
just like,
don't do this, Angela.
and he sort of like pats somebody on the back a little too hard. Person's like, oh. And yeah, he'll talk your ear off before he tells you anything, though. So Arabeth's probably a better bet. Or you could talk to Uncle Charlie. Make nice with him, he'd tell you.
I mean, I appreciate the heads up. I'll see you around, Tucker.
Oh, okay. Bye. Good luck with your chronicling.
You too. And I'll just I'm not gonna make a big show of it. I just kind of like hop down, but use my wings to break the fall so I don't like thud down onto the ground.
Yeah, no problem. And you leave Charlie up there, just content from what you could tell, sketching away in his book.
Yeah.
Hard to read someone's face when you only see half of it.
Fair.
The eyes do tell you a lot about a person.
Fair. So I assume I don't see Paru because she is outside in the tree, correct? Or are you still are we in a barn? I got confused.
You are, okay, so you're like, the barn is a big focal point of the party, and then there's like a big lawn in front of the house. It's like between the barn and the house. So the tree was part of the tree in the house, and that's where Tucker was hanging out. Paru might also be up in one of maybe like the adjacent tree that would have some of the mushrooms from the house growing in it. So yeah, you're in this big yard space.
How far apart are we? Like, it's pretty big, so okay. All right.
Yeah. Think of like a real big, like, family picnic sort of vibe.
I'm going to, I guess, where's Harland?
Harland is at least being hounded for stories, though there's a possibility that Mimi is also sort of like hankering for attention at the same time. So you're being like assaulted from the kneecaps as well as through the ears as people are trying to get information from you about what happened.
So I think he would be standing with the hand like on Mimi, like right behind the head, just kind of like absent-mindedly petting. You know, it's like the petting of a dog that is just enough to stop them from whining, but not enough to stop them from being obnoxious.
Constant head hitting your hand.
Exactly. It's like the cold nose right in the crook of the armpit. Like just like you.
In this case, just where your wrist is.
Yeah.
You're way taller now.
But yeah, I think that he'd be, standing with Mimi and like regaling with stories, and I think like Harlan can read people. Like that's one of his skills. It's like I think that he'd know that his friends are out of element in this, like with his family, and because he feels out of his element as well. So I think a lot of his stories that he'd be telling would be sure to be highlighting good things about them, which might end up backfiring. But like, I think it's like, these people are just as important as me to get me where I am. Is what he'd be trying to convey.
Sure. And And there seems to be at least a number of folks in your family that are listening to your stories and acknowledging that, like, Harlan's such a good boy. He's talking about his friends like that. Like, there's a lot of that. A lot of that's from your mom. So yeah, so Oliette, you see Harlan doing his best to, entertain the rabble as they're asking questions. You see all sorts of furbolgs hanging out with him. Different. You see some of his aunts and uncles. There's like a grandparent, probably old for furbolg is pretty damn old. And you see his mom occasionally like handing him like another sandwich, like, Harlan, honey, like, here, make sure you have another one.
And like, as he's telling his story, he's kind of like, gesturing with the sandwich, and he'll take a bite and not really notice that like Mimi has like gotten to the sandwich a bit, and like goes and he like takes. It's basically like that like kid with the ice cream cones, like lick, hands it to the dog, and then lick, hands it to the dog.
I mean, at one point you don't get it back.
Yeah, it's just, you go take it. Like it's just not there.
It's like, oh, the slobber.
I apologize that we are dropping some frames currently. We're having
Same as audio or just video?
Audio is fine. It's just my OBS video is a little wonkety at the moment. I think it is because that the weather is not great currently, so it could be just a spot touchy for a little bit. And you're okay. There it goes. So it might be a little spotty for a few minutes.
Choppy.
Sorry about that.
Honestly, as long as people can hear the story, I think it's okay that some of the frames are dropping.
Okay.
There we go. It seems to be smoother now.
Yeah.
So you have humble Harland sharing stories. The himbo part not falling into the equation just yet.
Just yet.
He's related to all these people.
Present company excluded.
So yeah, you find Harland telling some stories. Before we go to that, though, Beza, you are in a bit of a match right now with a very boisterous, very God, man, if there was another himbo in this party. Montgomery Fire Branch is certainly one of the more ostentatious members of the family. He's dressed like something out of one of those Harlequin romance novels. It sort of looks like he almost looks like, yes, Fabiolg, thank you. Okay. He sort of looks like a romanticized fan art of Harland.
So there's
like
probably some
you have
seen before.
Honestly, yeah, you've probably seen this sort of look before. And he's been incredibly congenial with you, just very impressed, very complimentary when you're doing things at this like horseshoe contest.
Oh,
and
God.
Eventually you'll win a match, and he's like, oh, that was very spirited, Beza. That was very good. And he's like, shall we go again?
You're right. You remind me a little bit in terms of personality of my mentor.
Really? What did he do?
He was a knight. His name's Sir Tuskendale.
Oh, well. You. I don't know if I'd consider myself a knight. I mean, chivalrous, certainly, but...
oh my God.
Well, no, I mean... I don't know if you're a knight, actually. But no, what I meant is just that your personality, you're loud and you're fun.
Oh, well, I appreciate
No,
the fun part. Thank you. I mean, I have to be loud. I do host a small cabaret outside of Chronogram 5. A little bit of a black sheep, you would say.
You should talk to our friend Oliette. She's a fantastic storyteller and performer.
Really? I will have. Which one is Oliette?
He's the one with the blue hair and the wings.
Oh, all right. Well, I will be sure to introduce myself, but we still have a game to play here, Beza. Can't get away that easy.
No worries.
He
And,
is a
let's,
delight.
Give me an athletics check.
I rolled a 10 again, so it's another 12.
Okay, 12 and but he's talking. Montgomery is talking way too much, and you're a little more focused on the game than he is, and so you're like, ding, ding, ding. Get him on the hoop, and he's just like, oh, bested me again, Beza. I have to applaud you. This isn't really my sort of sport, as it were, but been an absolute pleasure.
It's been a lot of.
Go ahead.
That's it. She was just saying it's been a lot of. I can't imagine that after spending all those years being raised by Sir Tuscandale, that she has a real good handle on, like, this guy might be a piece of work and she should maybe stop talking to him. Keeps going.
And you see that there is like a line or a little crowd of people, and they're not so much watching the game as they are like checking their metaphorical watches, waiting for the board to be available. Or waiting for the field to be available for you. Oh well, shall we try best of 7?
I think there's other people who want to play too, though, so we should probably take 10s.
Oh, of course. Sorry, it's been a while, and you just hear.
You guys have any other games of accuracy?
Accuracy. Well, yes. As a matter of fact, It's a little uncouth, I'm sure, but we do have Paint Rat.
Paint Rat? I'm so afraid of whatever this is gonna be.
What's Paint Rat?
Oh well, it's just a playful little game of tossing paint balloons at the rats down below and trying to get your color of rat into the particular doorway that gets marked in the barn. There's a twofold system of the game.
Oh my god.
You hear someone in the back. Wait, someone say we're playing Paint Rat?
That sounds really chaotic, but possibly a lot of fun.
We might have to wait till after people have left the barn for the meal, though. Obviously.
That's all right. I mean, when I was talking accuracy, I meant like trying to hit a target from 100 yards away, or throwing axes and trying to make sure that yours goes the deepest into the tree, because those are the things I'm used to.
From 100 yards away. Oh, you mean like? Oh, well, that is absolutely doable. I mean, and Montgomery like glances over at the side of the barn where there's literally just an axe in a stump. Like, we can just do that right now.
Right.
Well, what do you say, Beza? We make this a little interesting.
How?
Interesting, as in, putting a wager on it.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that, but I don't have a lot of coin.
Well, we could just do a friendly game of whatever you have in your pockets. And he kind of looks out, he has a couple coins in his pocket, and he looks around and he kind of pulls out, like, there's like an acorn, puts that back.
I mean, I have other things, and you can decide what it is, but I think she probably reaches into her bag or pocket or whatever, one of the little like openings that she can open inside her hip, and pulls out some sort of random trophy that she probably has like 20 of, and she doesn't think it's a big deal because she's killed a whole bunch of this thing. But
sure, it's like a tusk of some sort of creature, and it's like finely carved. It looks really pretty, but yeah, you're like, I have I've got 20. And
But who cares?
I mean, I got this.
oh wow, that is. And may I?
Sure.
And he picks it up. And he's just like, this is beautiful. Did you carve this?
Yeah, it was actually one of my practice pieces for working on my bow.
Oh, well, an artist I must respect. And he hands that back. He's like, well, I wouldn't want you to part with something so lovely.
I got. She pulls out like a handful of them. I got.
Some of them carved much better than that one. It's probably one of the more rudimentary ones.
That was probably one of the first ones she pulled out. She wasn't trying to slight him. It's just like, meh.
So Montgomery kind of looks at you and is like, well, if you don't mind parting with it, I can throw something in the ring too, and we could just play for when there are stakes to things, it's just a little more exciting than just a friendly game.
Yeah, all right.
All right. And so he reaches into his pockets, and he's got a few coins, and he has a little box that's in his hand. He's like, well, that. And he has he pulls out what is essentially a like a little necklace. Has a little has like a little gem on it. And he's like, well, I had this, but I was gonna pawn it, so I suppose this was as good a time as any. And he puts it on the ground near the axe, or actually on the stump where the axe is sticking out of. And he's like, well, if you want to put your barter or your I don't know the word for it. Angela forgot the word for it. Your bet, I guess?
I can put my wager there.
Yeah, thank you.
How many of these do you think
Too
are
many
equal to your necklace?
Well, how long did it take you to make one of those?
I mean, honestly, the making of them and the carving of them wasn't the hard part. It was hunting and trapping the... I have to come up with a name. It was hunting and trapping the rhino cats that have the tusks that took a long time.
Rhino cats! Oh, that sounds ferocious. Well, then on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was it to defeat a rhino cat?
I mean, the first one was probably like a 10. But after I got the hang of it, maybe like a 5. They've got big tusks, but they're not gigantic. They're, what's a good size comparison? They come up to about here on me, and she puts her hand at like her waist.
Okay.
So, they're not huge. They're very fast, though.
Well, this took me on a scale of 1 to 10, probably about an 8, maybe a 9 if I'm honest. But we'll say maybe 2 of yours to this, and that'll be an even wager.
All right. And she purposely pulls out a couple of the slightly nicer looking ones.
Okay.
She, doesn't want to insult Harlan's family, and she puts them there with everything else.
Okay. So you proceed. You proceed to basically have an axe throwing contest with Montgomery, aiming at a tree, not the trees attached to the farmhouse. Yeah, right. You march a little past the tree that Paru is on, and walk towards another little grouping of trees, and Montgomery counts out the paces, so that we'll say you're like 50, 60 paces away, and a few people have sort of congregated a little bit. They're actually interested in this. Some of them seem to be more interested in you taking the blowhard down a peg, or just someone mentions that oh god, he's made a bet again, so at some point he's gonna lose his goddamn pants. And so Montgomery's like, well, please, guests first. And he offers you the axe.
All right.
So go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay, is this dex or...
This will be a strength throw.
Okay, I actually have hand axes in my inventory, so I'll just use that.
Yeah, treat it like a hand axe.
All right, the first one's a 12. I'm rolling a lot of 10s. Maybe I should not use the dice roller on D&D Beyond.
So you, I mean, it's a stationary tree. It's pretty big. And so yeah, you very rote movement at this point. Haul the axe back over your shoulder and throw it, and just and it crunches into the bark of the tree. Not super deep, but you do hit it and it sticks. And Montgomery and some of the other Faebles give a little clap and very well done, very well done. And he walks over to it and kind of pries the axe out of the branch. He kind of like stretches a little bit with it because he's a fucking showboat, and walks back to the spot where you've marked the like the 50 step line, and kind of stretches a little bit and limber up for this sort of thing, or you'll wake up tired and regretful in the morning. And then he does sort of an overhand, and after a step he throws it. Very nearly close to where you hit the tree. So you go back and forth and do this a few times. Give me 2 more athletics checks. We'll just see in general how this contest goes.
Okay, athletics, or should I go ahead and just roll a hand axe? Then?
Sorry, roll attacks. Yeah.
Okay, it's an 18 and a 13.
What? You rolled an 18 and a 13. He rolled a 13 and an 18. So yeah, back and forth. He did roll a 13 on his first throw, though. So you're just sort of back and forth, but as you go, you're told to back up a few more paces. So every round, it's a little harder. And then by the end, with that 13, it's like you hit the base of the tree. You technically hit the tree, but it's just a much lower shot, and he just gets that overhand shot, and it goes poof, 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 and hits the center, dead center of the tree. And there's a bit of like, sort of clapping from people around, and Montgomery's like, please hold your applause. Not necessary. And he goes up to you, Beza, and says, very good show, Beza. I'm absolutely delighted to have gotten to see a real hunter at work. And he reaches over and grabs the 2 horns, puts them back in his coat along with the necklace, and starts sort of schmoozing with some of the other family members who are, some of them are okay talking to him, some of them are just like rolling their eyes at Montgomery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she like checks her pockets, and she's like, I wonder how many of these things I actually have. And she's like counting the ones that she has in the one pocket, and then she opens up her other pocket and starts pulling out the claws.
Uh-huh. And there's even more of them. Yep. So Paru,
Yes.
what are you doing up in the tree?
Playing with a cat I found. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got you. There's a tressum up in the tree.
Yeah, I'm like all over the truss and just giving it snuggles. Sorry, she did her little. Oh God, I want. She did her I am lost and I can't see anybody, where is everyone cry. So I was like, I'm right here. You haven't lost anybody in the house, so that she had to come over and make sure that she wasn't alone. Part was really just kind of watching, while the atmosphere is very similar to, I'm sure, the Queen of the Thorns, the Queen of the Vines court, and I mean, not entirely unlike the Goblin farming society. There's a level to it that is just, there's a respect between people that isn't something that Paru is used to. And the camaraderie of family is, I mean, in her family, it's like she was a burden, and so there wasn't this kind of jovial nature. So she's really happy to watch everybody and be like, oh, okay, so this is how it's supposed to be when people are together. Mm-hmm. And she had it with the mushrooms, but their way of communicating was so different than verbal communication. She's like, I literally don't know how to interact with anybody. Because normally it would just be like, share some spores, share feelings, everybody's cool. And now I'm like, I don't know what to do. So she's really just playing with the little mushroom up in the tree, making it change spore colors. Because she doesn't... It's the only thing that she can find that's kind of comfortable and familiar.
Yeah.
And just kind of watching.
So as all this is happening, Oliet, you are wandering towards Harland as he's being accosted with questions about... It's like, so you fell into a book.
Yep.
You like trip over it?
Nope. What I tripped over was a gargoyle gauntlet, and that is a different story for a different time.
What's a gargoyle?
No idea. I've never met one.
What's a gargoyle gauntlet?
It's a claw that drags itself across the floor like a...
They fall in the book too?
Not to my knowledge.
So when you say you fell into a book, was it like face first you fell into the book? Like
I landed on my back. We had one of our friends landed in a tree, and then several others landed underground.
Wait, the book was in a tree?
No, we were in a tree.
It's that. I'll save everyone the experience of that. Some people are only half paying attention to the stories. And some of the gossip going around is not apparently that helpful. But yeah, so Harland is in the middle of this, like I said, Francine keeps trying to hand him food. Because they're near-ish the food line. Seems like maybe he got caught being asked questions while he was in the food line, and it sort of like pushed him away. So his mom was like, "Oh, okay, he needs some help."
I think I observed this for a few minutes. Does Harland, do you look distressed at all, or do you feel? Would it seem to me like you're happy to be around your people and like in your element? And what would I be able to tell looking at this situation?
So I think that, like, over the course of however many years it was inside the book, I think that we probably would have been in a similar situation, perhaps not to this degree.
Maybe slightly more people throwing themselves at you.
So I think that you'd be able to like see signs that Harlan's like, he's taking it gracefully, but he's like very uncomfortable with just like the rapid fire barrage of just like it's relentless.
Okay. I think it's tough because the harlots, I have no problem like bowing to the side, like please make way, but it's hard because I don't want to be that way towards his family. But I think after a couple of minutes I will.
These are extended family.
Yeah, I think I'll just kind of approach and pull Harlan slightly by the crook of his arm and just be like, excuse me, official queen business. He'll be right back. And just drag him away.
Wait, was she?
We'll be back. We'll be back. Well, yes. To answer your question, yes.
Of a sword.
And just pull him away.
Sure. They sort of milling about themselves, these furbolgs. They're just kind of like, oh, well, that rat's very important.
I mean, Paru did say he was the champion of a queen.
Yeah.
Didn't mention which one or my legitimacy, so we're gonna go with it.
Well, see, what sort of ended up in the telephone of the Fire Branch clan was that he had champagne with a queen, and so people are quite on the up and up about what actually happened.
That's awesome.
He has something with queen.
Oh.
A perfectly wonderful evening of conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
No debauchery whatsoever.
Don't worry about it.
So
Looks like you were having fun. Yeah. As soon as we're like out of earshot of people.
Yeah.
This is a breath of fresh air.
I thought you'd be more excited. I don't know. I don't know how this is supposed to work.
It's strange. I've been rubbing elbows with strangers for the last only only the gods know how many years, and it was fine. But all of a sudden, it's family, and it's like you're being compared to what you were before, but you're not that. And there's like expectations that people aren't speaking, and it's like being judged incessantly by tiny cousins that you used to babysit.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think I was so anxious about going home? This is super weird. This is super weird.
But, I mean, if we are to gather an army to fight against the mysterious Arthur god king person, what was his name? Lord of Stories? Lord of Tales?
What was his name, Deanne?
Tale Lord, yeah,
Lord
that
of
one.
Tales. Yeah, Lord of Tales.
The Lord of Tales, yes, yeah.
This might be useful. I sure wouldn't want to endanger my family, but they are loyal to a fault.
That's wild. That is wild.
What's wild?
Well, the whole, like, it's not even that big a deal, just like the whole, like, oh, I love you, hug thing. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
It's wild.
my immediate family is very kind of like that, but it's just how it's more of a, it's more my family's version of a handshake than anything that's actually any of true emotional depth. It's I mean, you heard the phrase, "Hey, how are you now?"
I have just this moment, yes.
Right. Well, there is a response. It's good and you, and that's it. That's it. That's all there is to it. They don't actually care. You don't actually care when you respond. It's just on the face. So, what's that? It's like face on the face of it. Fact smile. Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Harlan. I mean, that's, I hear you. That's more than, I mean, I just have the one uncle, and there was no, I don't know, he's not, he's like, not.
Do we need an extraction team? Oh my god.
Oh, don't scruff her.
To be a producer.
She was attempting to chase her tail in my cords between the computer and the camera. So I was like, that's not good. Okay, we scruff and remove. She's a good girl.
What'd you say? I'm so sorry.
Tell me about your uncle.
I mean, Uncle Eb is so, he's smart, and he's nice. He's just very, honestly kind of reminds me of Tucker a little bit. Like, very focused, very not this, but more,
You met Tuck.
Yeah. He's a nice kid.
I look up to that. How old is he now? I look up to Tuck so much. Like, he's the most impressive bulk I've ever met.
It might not hurt to tell him that.
Like, just the way that he can, like, put that piece of burnt vine on a paper, and just all this stuff just comes right out, and he just I seen the pictures, and I seen the cursive, and it's I'm in awe of a Bolg with that skill. He can do what
He
I can't do.
is talented, yeah. I think he knows a lot of pretty cool tricks. Or anyway, yeah. I'm not used. I'm not. Ugh, whatever. Like, look, Harland, we're friends, and I like you a lot. And I'm sorry I said that thing about your mom earlier. Whatever. This is weird, and I'm not used to this.
Yeah, I know you didn't mean it, but I had to put a brave face on. Otherwise, my dad would have whooped me upside the head real bad for not saying nothing. I would have lost my hat, and that would have just been the most embarrassing thing.
I will always tell everybody that you put me exactly in my place.
I wouldn't say it too loud, though. You got a reputation to protect.
I mean, I'm not going to tell everybody. Like, are you kidding me? Just the people who need to know.
That's fair. That's fair. I respect that. If you need to duck out, I understand. You don't have to stay on my account. There's plenty to do around the grounds. I saw Beza was stumping, and I ain't seen Paru, but I can see like that telltale glow. So I bet I know where she could be. Do you want to meet at the Moonshine Shack later? Do you want to tell the others?
Oh my god, I thought you were never gonna ask. Like, yes. Oh my god.
We should all meet up at the Moonshine Shack. We don't have
okay,
to.
Okay, if you know where it is, because
be there.
Yeah, can we just let's grab Paru and Beza and just like do that, and then we can figure everything else out.
Yes, I absolutely know where Uncle Charlie's Moonshine Shack is.
Oh god.
Because I have never been there on any occasion. Why would you suggest such a thing?
Okay, Harland. I got you.
Right. Okay.
Let's just grab our friends.
No, we duck out and I don't have a watch and I couldn't read it if I had one.
We'll get there. Oh no. I'll try to, since we're already kind of out, maybe locate Paru and then grab Beza.
You kind of look around, look for the glow he was talking about. You notice, you hear a little like crow squawk, meow. It's hard to tell.
Once we get close enough, I think it's 60 feet. You said. I just want to like send her a message.
Sure.
And be like,
yeah,
moonshine time. Come on, girl.
On the way.
Oh,
Before she does, she touches the mushroom and changes it to like purple. Okay, and then like gets down.
Okay. So Harland, you absolutely don't know where this shack is. Absolutely don't. You just kind of like, well, we'll just, we'll meander around and see if we can find said shack I've never been to ever in my life.
We'll just wander in a random, very specific direction.
Yeah, between these very distinct two trees that you just picked at random and you walk them. So yeah, it takes a couple minutes, but then you sort of meander out, and there was music playing at the party, and kind of fades out. You hear the crowd sort of dulling in the back, and you wander a little bit into the tree line, and it takes another minute of walking, and you see a little glow in the distance in this sort of like slightly swampy farm forest area. And I know that was a lot of biomes to throw at you just then.
I just suddenly have like,
I'm using my wings. I'm not stepping in this.
Oh, of course. So
my brain just went Pirates of the Caribbean as you first take off like the trees and the fireflies. I'm like, oh yeah, this
yeah.
Paru's jam right here.
So, you see, you hear a little bit of laughter peppering in the back, and you get closer, and you see this little glow, a little candle glow, and there's a little shack, a little like one room building built out here, covered in moss, more of a hill than a building, but sitting out on some rocks and like reclining, you see You see Arabeth, and you see Uncle Charlie, and you see one other Furbolg, little scrawny man, another one of your uncles, Harland, and the three of them are just kind of like shooting the shit and passing around a jug of something on the pink side of clear. And
So gasoline.
no, maybe it's just rose or strawberry flavor.
Oh, that's fair. It's not aggressive.
So you approach, and Uncle Charlie kind of glances up, but Arabeth's the one that kind of like lifts the jug and is like, "You have passed the gauntlet, and you have arrived at what's the thing? What's the thing that's good to be at? Your destination."
We have it that. we are harrowed by our journey and seek succor and y'all, can we just take a load off?
Yeah, come over, Lundy. Sit your ass down. And so yeah, there's lots of room to sit, sort of on this little porch made of cobblestone-looking stuff, and it's dark, but the forest breaks above you enough that you can see stars, and there's just like this little chill atmosphere here of sampling of Uncle Charlie's moonshine. And he and so yeah, Uncle Charlie kind of looks at all of you, and y'all specifically looks at Paru and Beza. Y'all are of age, I assume. It would be very reckless of me to be passing around any sort of libations to folks if they would, little ones.
Yes, sir. I am a full-grown goblin.
Oh, we're adults. We're just short.
Oh, well, if that's the case, no one's fault for that. Just come on, get a glass.
1 second, my computer is glitching in and out.
Harland.
Okay, I think we're good yet now. I don't know what happened. My computer decided to glitch for a moment, so I apologize. Thank you, 12-sided guy.
That happened.
Yeah.
And so you have you all sit at this little space, and Uncle Charlie starts passing out these. They're not glasses so much as they're like little hand molded clay cups. And he pours some from this giant jug, this kind of, and you get this big whiff of like berry, like it could be strawberry. It might make it's a little harsh, but it's still very like more decadent than you were expecting from a sort of what Harlan had described as like a corn moonshine or a maize moonshine. And Arabeth sort of lifts her cup to you, and is like, "All right, well, cheers, y'all. Welcome to the farm."
Thank you.
Clinks glasses. He's like, "All right, Lundy, first official." Clinks, yeah.
Much obliged. It's definitely got a bouquet of something up there.
Booze. That's exactly what happens in all of our ear holes because headphones.
In all of our ear holes.
RIP headphone users, I apologize.
Yep, no, that was honestly the
Perfection.
best, worst thing ever. So Arabeth sort of chuckles watching you sample the moonshine. She's like, "Yeah, he kicked up the ABV a notch."
Beza takes a small sip of hers just to taste it and be polite,
Sure.
and then hands it to Aliette.
There's a vague memory of when this would have been pleasant to put in your body. So, oh yeah, you have 2 cups now. No one's judging. And so yeah, so you guys just kind of hang out, shoot the shit in this like quiet. It's the cool kids table. That's the vibe you're getting here. It's quiet. It's sort of it's that isolated thing where you can kind of like look out in the distance. You see the party as a whole happening, but you but you know, like this was like the secret thing that everybody wants to go do. There's that kind of exclusivity thing, and eventually Arabeth and eventually the uncle. I didn't name him because he's gonna pass out in a second. So he's sort of lolling to sleep. We'll call him. I did actually have a list of terribly southern names. We have Uncle. We're gonna call him Uncle Forest, which is a real lame name for a furball to have. So Uncle Forest just kind of like leans against a rock, and he's just he's had a few. And Arabeth is like, all right. And then there were 8.
Well, you know what
7.
this calls for is first person to pass out at a party is this. And Harlan will cast Prestidigitation and draw like a dandy mustache and a monocle, like complete with a chain that goes down
on Uncle Forest. And Arabeth is like, God damn it, I knew I liked you. You're fucking on. And then so she's like, no, Uncle Charlie, like we can. He's like, oh sure, I've got like 4 more bottles in the back. Here you go. And she's like, man, I'm really glad I got you that double tanker still. So who's in? She kind of looks around all of you conspiratorially.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really drink or eat. She probably would have mentioned that beforehand, so they didn't wonder why she kept passing her drinks to other people.
You could be our referee.
All right.
Keep us all honest.
Well, and I might have to drag some of you back.
Very good point. Our designated dragger.
Delightful.
So, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, you get scared, Lundy? You just wanna...
No, I just know that it's my first night, and I would very much not like to not stumble home a drunken mess on my first night back, especially when I left here as a teenage bogue, and I'm a young adult bogue now. And
well, you'll just go home a wobbly-legged adult bogue.
I promise to cast Lesser Restoration on you so you can walk home without any sort of telltale signs.
That one. Okay. That one's that's a good one. I believe that'd be mighty fine. Now,
Besides, it'll be funny when you're passed out and I'm not.
What about you, darling? Looking over at you, Olia. You in? You seem like you're already double fisting, so.
I mean, if you're gonna call me out, then yeah.
All right. And she drags over a big flat rock that you'll use as your table. And as our final event for the evening, we're gonna play a drinking game. So, what is going to happen is there will be 5 rounds of this, taking a drink of this, trying to keep it down. As we go further along, you will find it's increasingly harder to manage said Constitution saving, and we'll see when y'all how y'all do.
all right.
This is a Constitution check, right?
Correct.
Not save.
She's gonna stretch subtly.
Oh no, it's a save. Sorry, it's a save.
Oh,
It's a
damn. Okay,
Constitution
never mind.
save.
Never
Just a
mind.
save.
Never mind.
So, you
That will not work
are-
for me then. Damn, no
And
enhanceability.
for the purposes of your bonuses as characters, alcohol will be considered a poison. So if anyone gets affected by that, that's so Beza, you're good to go. If you had decided to join,
Great.
you would have soundly defeated everyone because literally nothing would have happened to you.
Resistance. It's immunity to.
Oh, it's resistance.
It's immunity to
Disease.
disease and resistance to poison. So the chances are very high. I would have been fine.
Yeah, you would have been okay. All right.
Before we get started, I want to pull out my bongos and kind of set
Okay.
them beside me and use Mage
okay.
Hand to start like a beat a little
Just
bit.
like
Like it starts out kind of slow.
Uh-huh. Yep.
My bongos are pretty small compared to Mage Hand, so I imagine it's just kind of like tapping on it. It's going to start slow and get a little faster, but I am going to lean over to Harland, and I'm going to say, do the best that you can, but you're a grown-ass man. You've got this in hand, and I will give him bardic inspiration.
Nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
So- Might be obliged. I cannot deny that I've been intrigued by the concept of moonshine.
You don't have to. You. Okay.
You do not have to reply to this message.
Yeah, sure.
All right,
But yeah, you get a D6. on a-
awesome. I will,
Yeah.
If I need it, I will use it.
If you need it, a check or a save.
All right. So, here's what we're going to do. First round, you are all sober. There are no penalties to your rolls. Please, everyone, give me a constitution save as you all knock back one shot of Uncle Charlie's moonshine.
Oh my god, watch me fail the first one.
I was searching for the spell and I just found it. Paru is going to try to very subtly cast protection from poison on herself, which will give her advantage on saving throws for Constitution, given her
Sounds good.
size comparison.
Yep.
22.
16.
Okay, we're starting at a DC 10 for your first roll.
Oh
All
god.
right,
So,
16.
okay. Everybody goes, whoop, knocks him back. You see Arabeth sort of. I'm good. She puts the glass back down, and Uncle Charlie starts pouring them again. It's like, so tell me, Harlan, where you have any good parties back in that book you were banished to?
Oh, plenty of good parties. There was this one time that Her Majesty decided to.
Fancy folk. Forgot you hang out with them.
Oh, she's real not that fancy though. She's literally Her Majesty of the folk. She rubs elbows. She sits on the ground. She eats from a trencher and drinks from a horn. She very much down to earth, bread and butter. Thank you, ma'am. Kinda royalty.
And my kind of queen there.
She was indeed.
Well, then I believe we have our first toast to Her Majesty of the Less Fancy. And everybody, please give me another Constitution save. No penalties.
15.
14.
14.
Natural 20.
Natural
Nice.
20. The DC
Beautiful.
here was 12.
I am posting these in our chat, like just
Great.
to make sure that I am
Good stuff, good stuff.
on the up and up.
All right, so DC 12 this time. Everybody just knocks them back and is like,
Welcome,
to her
Raiders."
queen of the non-fancy.
Oh my god.
All right.
19.
19. All right, so everyone's just kind of like eyeing each other, like. And Uncle Charlie starts pouring the next round, and Arabeth is sort of just watching watching you, Harlan. He's like, I don't know, Harlan. I don't know, Lundy. You got like a little bit of a flush going. I think it might be getting to you.
You know that I was always a pale bulg. That is just the color of my skin.
Some things never change then. But you're still a lightweight, too.
I guarantee
Clink.
you that I am much, much larger than I used to be. I fill my shoes quite well now, and my breeches. It's the big feet.
Let's
and
all drink. I don't want
legs.
to hear him talk anymore. And she just downs.
I've had too much
shot.
moonshine to ignore that. I'm sorry. The tempo is speeding up a little bit with the mage hand.
Sure. Everybody give me another constitution save. DC 14.
Ooh, 16.
Ooh, that's a
Barely.
17.
Let's see. Oh no, poor Arabeth. If you fail a save by 5, you will take 1 level of drunkenness.
Nice.
So Arabeth
God.
is. She takes it and she just kind of like pounds the table a bit.
I love
Damn,
her.
Uncle Charlie, you outdone, boozed yourself. That's what I meant to say. And you see just this tiny little bit of purple on her face. And Uncle Charlie pours the next round 4, DC 16, and Erebus like, so you all hang out with this queen of the non-fancy folk?
I hung out with a different queen. I hung out
Oh,
with
a different queen.
the Queen of the Vine, who is very much actually like most of y'all out here. Honestly, just good, hardworking.
Me, like I've
farm lady.
been aware of entirely the wrong queens.
She's a good one.
So
What
Harlan
about-
starts to look a bit purple.
Uh-oh.
I
Yeah.
rolled a 2, so
Oh,
that's a 3 on my save.
I got an 18, and it just occurred to me I
Yeah.
rolled a check instead of a save. Oh, it's the same number, so 18 total. And I put it in the Shenanigoons.
18. Let me see what she rolled.
Oh, I haven't been taking pictures, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I just did it because I had high rolls and I wanted to make sure I
Yeah, I
was
usually do it on nat 20s, but
So
yeah.
she pounds the stone again. I'm good.
You're gonna bruise your knuckles doing that too much.
I am fine.
Mm.
Calloused from long years of work. Little Lundy.
Oh, you do work around here?
Oh.
Sight more than you do.
Yeah, you ain't giving me a
Last
chance.
time you tried working, we had a bunch of little eggplants doing a little soft shoe outside the farmhouse. So there's very good work there, little
That
Lundy.
That
You
was
could
one
take them on
time,
the road in a little review.
and they kept
Maybe-
tune.
Maybe Montgomery could open for you.
Welcome, Perception Studio. Thank you for the raid. Woo, we love you guys. Happy holidays.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oliet, you rolled a 2. So you're gonna take that first level of drunkenness, which means that you have disadvantage on any intelligence or wisdom-based skills checks or saves until you take a long rest.
Wonderful.
Also, because you failed your roll by more than 10,
Oh my god.
we'll talk about what happens after.
Oh.
Ah!
Oh no.
You're gonna go sleep pretty quick.
Oh my god. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even like feel it. This is like not even that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So Uncle Charlie pours out he pulls out with his furry blue hands and just pours the last round of the pink moonshine, and Arabeth is looking at you, Harlan, like, bring it on, little brother, bring it on.
Y'all realize that I'm like less than half your heart, and I'm doing just fine, right? Because this is great.
I
Your
hear a
cup-
lot of talking, not a lot of drinking, darling. There
Your
you go.
cups are
Thank you.
commensurately smaller than.
Do you want
than
to trade?
ours are. I would not.
Oh, she's calling you out, bitch. She's calling you out.
I still don't understand how you guys can drink and eat things. It's just weird.
It is the finer things in life, Beza. You must learn to adapt. I don't know what I'm talking. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Brandishing peppercola.
I don't know.
5 on her last roll.
I'll
Oh,
let you guys take over the mastication. I'm fine.
19.
Hey, we are in mixed company, young lady. That is not.
oh my god, that's amazing. I rolled a natural 3, so I rolled a 4.
Well, we are definitely going to discuss what happens all the end.
Oh no.
Oh god.
So,
it was going so good.
so we have 2 failures on both our parts. So,
2 titanic failures.
yes. So Oliette and Arabeth are both a little queasy,
Ooh.
which means you now have disadvantage on Constitution-based skills checks and
Oh
saves.
no!
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
And
Oh,
Arabeth
no.
goes, all right, so we're gonna do one more, right? One more, best.
Are you
I think I see,
sure
I
you
see
should?
4. I see 4, 5, just 4. I see still standing folks. Still, I don't think
That-
we have declared a winner yet.
You are. Yep. It's yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last one, Uncle Charlie. One more. You sure? Yeah. One more. It's fine. What we gonna do? We're gonna be home. Who cares? Oh, fine. And he pours the last shots. DC.
Again.
His last one. If you want, you can bow out.
No.
Well, just for the sake of it, DC 20.
Oh my god.
Oh, my lord.
Okay.
Exactly.
God, amazing.
It's a 3 again.
Oh my goodness.
Wait.
Oliette has left the sphere of reality.
Yeah,
I don't know where the hell she is.
Oliette
She's gone.
and Forrest are both just.
19. I missed it by 1.
But that's only one level of drunkenness. So you're
Yep.
fine. Harlan, how you do?
I missed twice. Yeah, two times. So I got a 20
So
this
you're-
last one. I got a 20
Yeah, that's
this
fine.
last
You got 2 levels drunkenness.
Yep.
But Oliette and Arabeth are just not having a good time right now. Just like, I better
Ooh.
quit. Wait, well, Tuppy is
Welcome,
unhappy
Raiders.
with me. Thank you for the raid. You just hit the end of a drinking challenge.
And it went fine. Nobody worry about it. Everything's fine.
Everyone was good. Everyone
Yeah,
was good to
everything's
go.
great. Everything's great.
So, as the evening wears on in this drinking, let's say anyone who doesn't have multiple levels of drunkenness is free to nurse any drinks that they would like to continue to have. But you have a one of those really great nights where it's just like everyone's at minimum a little buzzed, and you're just talking about nonsense. And Arabeth keeps asking questions about the queens and the Fae book and just like, so did you like she like takes a while for her to get any questions out. And the evening just kind of goes on, and it's you hear the music lilting in the back, and it takes a few hours, but eventually that dies down. It's a little dark. The moon is very bright though, and you're able to make your way back to the farmhouse in the blue light of the moon.
Harlan will pull out sandwiches out of the pockets of his coveralls. He is like stashed and like
Yep.
hand them out.
Nice.
And Arabeth said, "I knew I liked you, baby brother."
Yeah, that one's got horseradish.
Why do horses make radishes?
I know they make apples.
Oh, lordy.
I think Oliette's just drunk enough to bust out laughing like this is finally funny.
And y'all don't see Uncle Charlie following you. He seems to have returned back to his shack, maybe shutting things down for the evening. But Arabeth is holding Uncle Forrest, and it's just he's just sort of like half asleep, and she's like, Uncle Forrest.
Paru is going to go ahead and let her the spores grow to give a little bit of bioluminescence for a little extra light for those who might need it. So she's got kind of like these green and purple kind of. Paru is not drunk enough to not be normal at this point.
So what color is the glow?
Kind of a soft purple.
Okay. So this little soft glow starts around you in this little sphere around you all, and kind of reflects off the damp wood from the sort of swampy forest you're going through. Is Oliette walking, or is she attempting to fly?
I honestly think it's one of those like cartoonish scenes where the wings are going, but she's like limp and like just kind of like dragging.
It's sort of
Like
it's
my
sort of
toes are
like-
like in the mud. But I think I'm good, but I clearly am not good.
This is probably like pulling her along, and she's got her arms wrapped around Beza's shoulders.
I love it.
Her toes are floating.
Yeah.
Love it.
So as you're all heading back, you hit the farm field, and you see the farmhouse and the barn in the ahead. The farmhouse with its sort of organically grown trees in the corners, catching some of the moonlight in the branches. As you pass over Oliette, you don't see Tucker anymore. He seems like he might have. Well, you don't see Tucker.
See anything anymore.
You don't really notice anything. You would have a very bad time trying to see anything right now. And there's just sort of like there's a lot of that like somebody talking too loud, and everyone just kind of like trying to sneak back into the house.
You guys gonna be able to do the children tomorrow?
I'm gonna be
I wonder if
fine.
a lot of people are gonna be able to do the chore tomorrow. There's like a little bit of camping going on out in the yard. There's like a bonfire, and then some folks are kind of like sagging a little bit, and there's some quiet, like people are kind of sleeping on like little mats on the ground. Some of them aren't bothering with mats, just like hanging out in the grass, staring up at the stars. Everyone's very at peace with the vibe of just being outside. You know, the farmhouse is there, but you get the sense that Harlan's family, they're outdoorsy types. And you see there's a smattering of paint on the ground in the barn.
Dang it, we missed Paint Rat.
You missed Paint Rat.
Dang it.
Paru, you do notice at least a couple of rats with a splash of something on them. One of them's like licking it up. Like,
Oh, baby.
they do. I will say that Montgomery clarified with you, Beza, that was food safe paint.
It's a bunch of
It's like Kool-Aid.
jams and jellies.
It was basically Kool-Aid and jam. And so the rat is having a fun time cleaning itself right now. And so yeah, you all sort of ease in. Arabeth drops Uncle Forrest off at the campsite with the bonfire. Like, y'all watch him, right? You take care of him? Yeah, okay. He just slowly drops him on the ground. He's just like and you all ease on back to the farmhouse. Arabeth is like, we got hold on. Just gotta. Okay. All right, so we have some rooms. Y'all can just take a pick. They're plenty big, and y'all be set to go. We just get up when you get up tomorrow. It's just one of those things. We all understand. But yeah, come on. Oh no. And she wanders into the house and shows you upstairs to the other rooms. Yeah, so there's like 3 rooms. You guys can bunk up if you need to.
Harlan will grab a blanket out of the closet, like the linen closet, and then like head up the stairs and just kind of keep going up the stairs, and
Uh-huh.
there's kind of like a hatch on the roof, and
Aw.
we'll
Drunk on the roof. That's a great plan, but go ahead.
he'll string up a
Nerds
hammock.
do not condone this sort of activity.
He'll string up a hammock and just like lay out
Okay,
under the stars.
Yeah. That's adorable. And well, and because you do that, let's see, Paru. Because Harlan did that, Mimi has decided to latch onto you.
No.
And you hear a as a big dog finds wherever you decide to sleep that night, and you just hear.
Honestly, Sniff snores too. So she just kind of, she literally, like she does with Sniffs, is just kind of rolls on top of Mimi and uses Mimi as a cushion.
Yeah, see, the difference though is giant mushrooms don't slobber in their sleep. So there's just.
I'm not putting my face anywhere near the dog's face. I'm gonna go for like shoulder.
Sure, that's fair. You're like big spooning?
Yeah.
You're big spooning the dog. Okay.
I'm big spooning the dog, who is much bigger than me, but I'm like, I'm just gonna be over here. Right up
I
here.
understand.
This is fine now.
I mentioned it's kind of like that
Asleep.
the squirrel that's trying to bury acorns in the dog's fur. Just like
Beza, do you I mean, you can bunk with Paru or Oliet, or like the three of you can bunk. It's totally up to you how you guys all work that out.
I
There are
think
3 rooms.
I think her first stop is making sure that she gets Aliette deposited in a bed.
Sure. You have like sort of an arm under her, and she's those wings are still going.
Like, no, the party's not over. We're not done.
The party's not over till the cops come.
Oh my
It's all
god!
right, Ollie. It's a new kind
Let's
of
go
party.
get like wobbles or something.
It's called a slumber party. It's really comfortable.
Okay. I think honestly though, as you start to try to leave, I don't let go.
All right. I mean, Beza, I don't know that Beza necessarily needs to sleep that much, being a living construct, but she'll plop down. She just stays there.
Resting is still pleasant. You still need rest. So if you're gonna, you apparently seem to be, you and Paru maybe are the only ones that are like really gonna be down for shore tomorrow.
Yep.
Huh.
So yeah, you Oliet, you fall asleep with, you black out. That's
black
really,
out.
but yeah, twice over because of those failures. But you are you are out like a light. The moment you hit the bed, you're just like sort of hugging your book, like conscious. And Beza, you settle in. These beds are pretty substantial. You think that the Faebles are a hardy people. They hold your stone form pretty decently.
I was gonna say that's probably a good thing since I'm made out of stone.
And the evening draws even darker and even later as everyone sort of settles in for the night. And Oliet, you you're very much like sort of out of it, and you're hugging your book.
Well,
And-
I haven't let go of Beza's shoulders. So like
Yeah.
the book is tucked in between us and I'm just like holding both of them.
Yeah. Before you black out, though, just before you like completely hit unconsciousness,
God.
you hear a voice in your head, and you're not just for like a moment, and then you're really out of it, so it's hard to really remember, and you just hear night sunshine. And that is where we will end our session.
Oh my heart!
God damn it, Angela.
Oh my god, my heart!
Literally too, I
Ugh.
didn't even, I was like, I promise you she's thinking about Villain as she's falling asleep. Like, I promise you.
Mm-hmm. But you black out. You're out.
Damn!
And it's over.
Mm-hmm. So
Son of a bitch.
we close this chapter of the Book of Fables And next week, we will deal with Chapter 10, which I do not have a name for yet, but it will involve some chorin, and it will involve some other nonsense on the farm. And we will see how that plays out. Of course, I will have to say everyone here is amazing. You all are super great. Thank you for this flight of fancy. I really just wanted to have a I really just wanted to have a Furbolg picnic.
This is the night how the Faebles have their picnic. Oh my god.
And just the sheer rage and all caps text in the chat just brings to life. Thank you.
Dr. Oddity, we are glad that you will be back. We are excited to have you. Thank you.
And thank you so much to everybody who watched the show tonight. Thank you so much to our raiders.
Absolutely.
We are super duper happy to have you. We are here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and you can catch us here. Find out more information at nerdsmith.org. Nerdsmith is our network. We are also going to be. We have a couple of special holiday streams this week. On Thursday night at the same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, we have a very special episode of an indie RPG run by our dear Tessa. We're going to be. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, we are going to be playing a game called Jingle, which is kind of a couple of RPGs that I have mushed together into one and transformed it into something completely ridiculous. So we have a few people, I believe, at least 2 people here. I believe Ange and Heather are both joining me on Thursday for this, where our players will be playing different types of holiday helpers. And the wonderful thing is that these holiday helpers have very, very limited vocabulary. So they will only be able to say one word or phrase at a time to communicate their ideas to one another. And only will have about 5 or 6 words that each of them can say. So it's going to be... That is actually one of them on the list, is chestnuts.
Very good.
Whoever plays our most intelligent imp will be able to say, now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Cupid, on Donner, and Blitzen. So, but that's
hopefully we deal with the reindeer.
Exactly. So,
please
it will be very funny.
If you follow us here on Twitch or on Twitter at We Are Nerdsmith, you'll get pinged and you'll get a heads up when we go live, and then you can. I didn't put a Twitter. Of course I didn't. You can find the link to our Twitter underneath the stream here. But once again, we are Shenanigoons, and we are just one of several shows on the Nerdsmith Network, and we are very, very, very grateful to be sponsored by a number of companies that are just really good friends of the network and just really cool people in general, and you should please consider giving them your patronage this year if you're still looking for some holiday stuff. There's a lot of neat things. For instance, Eldritch Foundry. Please check them out. They're where our figures came from on our screens, our character portraits. Eldritch Foundry is a really beautifully rendered miniature builder. Lots of really lovely detail in the artwork that they've put for the different races and the accessories and the outfits that you can build for your characters. You can get them printed in multiple materials, as well as for free download tokens of your characters that you build. We're talking round tokens and top down for use in digital maps, which is super duper cool. Very, very much encourage you to take a look at Eldritch Foundry. We are also sponsored by World Anvil. World Anvil is right in the middle of, or not right in the middle, but 23 days into their World Ember contest, which is basically a writing contest. Try to hit a certain number of words in your world building as you're making your campaigns for tabletop role-playing games or your novels or any sort of fiction, any sort of world building you might want to do. They have thousands of dollars worth of prizes from their sponsors and partners that you can get with different types of articles that you might want to write. So please check out World Anvil. They are absolutely delightful. And finally, Die Hard Dice. Die Hard Dice is an amazing dice company, makes polymer and metal dice sets. They are beautiful. They are so nice, and they will make If you get the metal sets, they will make your table feel bad about itself. So please consider doing that today. Yeah, get paid. So please check them out at dieHardDice.com, and we will hopefully. Well, first of all, thank you to our players. Y'all are great. Please check out in the chat or look them up with the tag on the layout if you want to find out how to follow all these fine people on Twitter. And I would also like to thank you, our audience, once again. Thank you so much to our raiders, and for those of you who stop by every week to come join us for this story. I am very, very excited to continue the Book of Fables with these fine folks and with you. So, with all that spiel done, we hope that you have a wonderful, safe holiday. Please take care of yourselves, and we will see you here next week. And if you don't mind, please do me a favor and be good to each other. All right, happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
See you next. To be continued.
Oh.